Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law-splaining the Interwebs. I am your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law. Fiddling. A small law firm in central Minnesota. Oh, I don't even have the speakers there, so you couldn't hear that. A small law firm in central Minnesota. And, man, do I love all of you being here tonight. We have a task ahead of us. A task ahead of us. It is a slog, y'all. It is a slog uphill through the mud like your grandparents did when they wanted to wash clothes or whatever. And we are going to go through the Funimation appeal filing. Yesterday, of course, we went through the filing for Jamie Markey. Some weird stuff in there. Some surprising stuff in there. And so tonight we're going to go through Funimation's and check out John Volney's argument. So we'll see how that goes. Tomorrow we're going to take a little breather from these documents, okay? Okay? Tomorrow's a little bit of a breather. Tomorrow we're going to have Ty Beard on. We're not going to be talking about the Vic case. Because, you know, it's in the midst of appeal. We're just not going to mess with that too much. And what they need to say will be said in documents. But we will be instead talking about Trump bucks, stimulus stuff, some we don't want to call it legal advice, but maybe some legal guidance for the audience because I think there are aspects of the stimulus that may apply to people out there that they don't know about. You know about your payroll, $1,200 stimulus check, your neat bucks or whatever, but there are actually a bunch more Trump bucks available to contractors, sole proprietors, to small business owners, and y'all might. I got the feeling that some of y'all actually probably fall into those categories and may not have an attorney who's looking at this to kind of point you in the right direction. So what we're going to do is turn the wheel, the oar, whatever it is on the ship and set you on a path that you can pursue. And hopefully, you know, if you need to consult an attorney in your area, you'll at least know what you're consulting them about, or you may know that you need to consult them. Something that some people may not know now. So there's a lot to this 880-page bill. It's hastily thrown together by a bunch of idiots. Chances are they might have set up a program you can take advantage of in these dark times. Sam, if that's what your friend thinks, maybe he should watch the show tomorrow. Okay? I'm just suggesting, if that's what your friend thinks the stimulus for small business is, maybe he should watch the show tomorrow. Let me just calmly suggest that. All right. That being said, we're going to get into this pretty quickly because we've got a lot to go through. There's a lot of and I'm not gonna do an April Fool's joke on you guys because I hate April Fool's jokes from like entertainment and news and companies that sell things. I hate it. I don't think it's funny. I don't think they're funny. Actually, more importantly, I know they're not funny. So I'm not going to do that to y'all. What I'm talking about right now is straight out, you know, reality, normal stuff. I'm telling you what we're doing, and we're going to go through that. I don't have an elaborate April Fool's joke or anything like that to do. So sorry, someone said I should someone said you should say you're playing Ace Attorney and then do something else, like do the Funimation document. And I thought that would be funny, except if I tell people that I'm playing Ace Attorney, no one will watch. So then I thought, well, no one would see the joke. The genius of that joke would go unnoticed. So we didn't do that one. Rial and Toye have submitted their 98-page brief. Funimation 70. How many pages is this? 71-page brief. Marky's was 45, and that includes the table of contents, so it's actually 39. Funimation's is 71, and then Rial and Toye's is even longer at 90. I just said it. 98 pages, like 98 Degrees, the boy band. There may be issues with this. For example, there's a word limit on these things. I don't know if anybody's aware of that. We've talked about it a little bit, but it's part of appeals, and the challenge with appeals is that there is a word limit, not a page limit, but a word limit. Because, you know, people might have a different font or a different size. You can actually technically still handwrite an appeal, I believe. And so they don't have a limit on the number of pages you use, but you gotta respect the word count. And so interestingly, I don't know if anybody came in under the word count. I don't know if anybody did at all. So that's a weird thing. What is that word count? Let's go to the Texas Rules of Appellate Procedure real quick. And then make sure we're talking about the right stuff. Texas Rules Appellate Procedure. Here we go. Here, I'll pull this up for you guys. And I did get a small feature in Monica and Ron's whatchamacallit, their brief. I don't know if I did in Funimation's. I doubt it. Volney probably would realize that that's just pointless. All right, here we go. So we've got all of this stuff. Signing, filing, form service. Where is it? Contents of motion and the response. That might be it. Let's see. Contents of motion. Evidence determining. No, that's motion and response. Where's the brief rules? I should have looked this up earlier, but we will find it real quick. Civil cases. Criminal cases. Appellate review. Perfecting appeal. Time to perfect appeal. Premature filings. Where is this? Docketing state. Why don't I just do brief? That's a lot. Words. Here we go. That was the easy way to do this. Control F. All right. So we've got a brief and response in a direct appeal to the Court of Criminal Appeals. Nope, not important. A brief and response in an appellate court. A brief and response in an appellate court, other than a brief under subparagraph A, and a petition and response in an original proceeding in the Court of Appeals. 15,000 words if computer generated, 50 pages if not. In a civil case in the Court of Appeals, the aggregate of all briefs filed by a party must not exceed 27,000 words. A reply brief. So that's your brief of the appealing party. A reply brief in an appellate court and a reply to a response to a petition in an original proceeding in the Court of Appeals. 7,500 words if computer generated and 25 pages if not. So here's the rule. 7,500 words. Did they do it? Now, I don't have exact word counts here, but generally speaking, if you're typing in 12 to 14 point font, you're looking at about 400 to 450 words a page tops. So that's what? That's what? Hold on. Get out the matherator. 7,500 divided by 450 words will be generous. 16 pages. That's a lot of words per page too, just so you know. I don't know how much typing you guys have done with word counts. That's 16 and 2/3 pages. Now, if you're cramming more than 400 words onto a page, or more than 450 words to a page, it doesn't look like this. This is not 450 words. Can I word count in Acrobat? Hold on. Let's see. Can I wonder. I've got to have a tool in here, right? Tools. Is there a word count? Damn it. I know how to do this in Word. I don't know. Maybe you guys know. Tracker? No, that's not it. Spelling. Advanced search. I can, let me copy and paste just this page. So copied. Easily reuse existing content by exporting a PDF to Microsoft Word. Oh, well, let's export this. Microsoft Word. Hold on, let me... 1 second. Saw how this could go. Export that to a... Here we go. Funny Word doc. We're going to export this real quick. Reconstructing document. Reticulating splines. Just a second. All right. So this is the Funimation document. And we have overall, I'll pull this up for you guys so you can see what I'm looking at. Here we go. You see the bottom down here. We have a total of 13,367 words. Now, a lot of the stuff does get ignored, like this initial page, this table of contents, the index of authorities. That all gets ignored. But really, kind of once this page 1 starts is a good guide. But even if page 1 isn't enough, you know, you've got your argument. This stuff is all going to be counted for sure. Summary of argument. Most of your pages, a statement of facts. You can maybe ignore the statement regarding oral argument, probably. You can probably ignore the issues presented. Statement of facts, though. Summary of argument. This is the bulk of the document. Conclusion and prayer. Certificate of compliance and service. I mean, let's see. This page right here is 187 words. So, good Lord. That's a lot. Or not a lot. Not a lot of words. But, yeah. Like I said, I could sit and try and figure all of it out. Well, let's just start with the statement of facts. For fun, we'll go all the way through. And again, there's some specific things about the word count. I think footnotes are included in the word count. So this is not a legal analysis. This is just a common sense look at it. It would be up to the actual legal teams to figure this out, of course. We're going to get down. Okay. Including the conclusion and prayer, we've got 11,456 words. And that's not counting the words in the screenshots that they used, by the way. So I think they may be over. I mean, unless they're going to claim that 4,000 of those words don't count, which would be, you know, about a third of it. If they're going to try and suggest that a third of it doesn't count, well then, a third of it might not count. But they'd have to make that argument. They didn't do that. It's kind of weird. Pretty sure Sam's was a bit too long too. Not as long as this one, but I'm pretty sure Sam's exceeded that word count. And let's just suggest that Wick Phillips, that how many Mr. Toye, how many words were in your appeal document? I don't recall. I need a second stick. I'm gonna slice this thing right in half with a razor, and I'm gonna get the South Park jaw moving. I don't recall. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? I can't say if this will be a problem or not. I'm just pointing to things that might be a problem, especially because you need to ask the court to do this. You just gotta ask. They'd probably grant the words if you ask, but you don't ask? Huh. And real quick, guys, bear with me, and then we'll get started in earnest here. Earnest. We'll get started in earnest in just a second, but there is something that I haven't done, and I feel like a jerk for not doing it, because someone sent me a very, very nice gift a while back, and I got it, and my kids stole it because it's a box, and they just took the box. And so I've regathered it, and I really want to thank the person who sent it to me, especially because it's a business, and it's a business that some of you might enjoy. So this came from the Dragon's Treasure, which is, here's their, I'm not doxing anything. Dragon's Treasure, here you go. There's their business card, and they make tea, and they sent me a bunch of tea. And so I want to certainly, like, when I say they sent me tea, they didn't send me little Lipton bags, right? Look at this. It's premium loose leaf tea, individually packaged. This is a haven. Their tagline is a haven for anime and tea lovers. So they have Phoenix Ash, Honey Bush Hazelnut. Honey Bush sounds like a hentai. Power Up. Sebastian's Morning Earl Grey Vanilla Cream. Also a hentai. Slytherin Potion. Sailor Mars Autumn Bonfire. So if you want to take a sip of Sailor Mars, you can do that. The Earth Kingdom, which is an oolong. Spirit Bomb Tea. Look at this stuff. This stuff looks wild. Spirit Bomb Tea. The Dragon Ball, which is Jasmine Dragon Pearls. Oh, check this out, guys. If you can see this. These are little, like, balls of jasmine, I'm guessing. And then finally, the tea that will pierce the heavens. So, obvious references going on there. If you like anime, if you like tea, they have a tea bar, anime playing on TV, cosplay events, game nights from Magic the Gathering to Dungeons and Dragons to Smash Bros, season premiere events, manga reading quarter, and more. So there you go. It's thedragonstreasure.com. They didn't pay me for the spot, and I just wanted to really thank them, because I do like tea, and my kids took it, and I felt like a complete jackass for not actually thanking them when I got it. But I didn't want to thank them and not be able to show what they sent. So if you guys like tea, give them a check out. It's really nice of them to send it to me. So all right. all shilling aside, we're going to get into this document. But we got some super chats. Bob the Troll King says homoerotic and behind. Well, homoerotic and behind. Oh, also, I had originally hoped Ethan Van Sciver would come on either tonight or tomorrow. But I know he's busy. He hasn't gotten back to me yet. And Ty is going to be on tomorrow. So he may be on Friday or over the weekend or next week. Not sure. But I am planning and hoping for a big brain panel a week from Friday as well. So the last big brain panel went over really well. And I've gotten a lot of requests for another one. And we've all happened to be locked down. So there's nothing to do on that. So, and I believe I will be inviting Ty for the big brain panel as well. Greer soon. The Greer stream, the problem I have with it is the Greer documents are really short. So I've got to get a hold of Sriracha and see if we can put together more of a show, because we'll be done with the Greer documents that I have in about 30 minutes. And so I want to put together more of a show about that. But I gotta circle back with her. So, Nivak de Orc says, "Hey Nick, could you do me a solid and pray for my mom? She had to go to the ER over health issues and was potentially exposed to COVID-19. Hospitals refusing to test unless she shows symptoms. This is fatal to her. Thank you. I will absolutely pray for her and hope that she was not actually exposed, or if it was exposed, she doesn't contract it. Absolutely." Diamondback DT says, "For the lawyer fund, because everyone deserves decent, competent, proper legal representation. Seriously, what will happen to the fun and moronicans when their lies and out of context in their appellate briefs are shown to the courts? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see." Abradolf Honkler, Shilmore Peacock. Oh yeah, Mr. Peacock. I'm hoping he hasn't confirmed yet for the big brain panel, but I'm hoping he'll be there, and you should check out his channel. Abradolf Honkler says, "How's about we send some positive vibes to our boy Lemois? He's high risk for CV complications and in actual danger right now. Poor bugger doesn't deserve to die." Nope, he doesn't deserve to die. That's correct. So I will send my minimum effort positive vibes to him, just hoping that he survives all of this so I can make fun of him more. Edimos 1000 says, 15 consecutive days of 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. overnight management in a Metro Detroit Walmart and getting a Dalmore 12 after work today. Hey, that's a good choice. No end in sight to the hoarding a-holes. Take care of each other if you have the means to. Yeah, we might have to rely on our neighbors for stuff soon. That'll be interesting. I make chairs. I will trade you chairs for corn. Gerard Hanna says, "Your effing SimCity reference made me audibly chuckle." You're welcome. I don't know. What SimCity reference did I make? Did I just do that organically? Oh, man. Diablo says, "Hey, Nick, just wanted to get your thoughts on the mandatory temperature checks at my work. Have to take my temp at home before I go to work, then get it checked at work." Well, do you want to work? That's the hard thing at this point. Oh, reticulating splines. That's right. Sorry. Yes. It's kind of baked into my old school gaming lexicon. I forgot. Here's the thing, Diablo, man. If you want to work right now, complying with that is good. It's bad policy in the long run, I think. It may be prone to HIPAA violations or other protected information being distributed to people who shouldn't get it, and you may be compelled to get it, but you're not going to get anywhere denying it. So unless you don't need that job at all and don't want it, I probably best right now to just comply with it. Random Blaze says, "Wait until you read Moron's brief. They're trying to get around their limit on words for their cross field by combining it with their brief." Oh, I know. I'm aware of it. You'll need a bottle of strong booze when reading. I'm aware of what they're doing. I just haven't fully read the brief. We're gonna definitely talk about that little issue. Adzuma99 says, "Hey Nick, so because of this whole Corona situation, I can't fly out to see my girlfriend or family. So if you could pour a shot for me, I'd really appreciate it, and it would make my night. You know, for you only, I will do this. I wasn't otherwise going to drink. That's a joke. That's an April Fool's. Here we go. We've got this Calumet Farms small batch bourbon, which I really like. I'm only going to drink half the shot now. No one fell for it. You guys are no fun. I'll do half, okay? That was 2/3. That was 2/3. Sorry, buddy. Sucks that you can't see your girlfriend or your family. I feel for you. I'm in the same boat, except in reverse. My parents are really jonesing to fly up and see the kids, and they're unable to. So, with you on that one. Feeling it. Feeling it. A2P. And you sent another one, but retracted it. So thank you. A2P says, you would think that with all the time the defendants spent on Twitter, they would know how to compress words in a document. And then finally, Redoubt says, hey, Rackets, first super chat. Hey, thank you. My great aunt died tonight. Wow, that's a lot of greats. A lung virus, corona, ripped through her nursing home. She was a nun, spent most of her life trying to help people in need. She just missed her 100th birthday. Take a shot and say a prayer. I tend to do the prayers off stream, but I will absolutely pray for your aunt. Sounds like a nice lady who dedicated her life to good things. So I'll finish this for her. Since she's a nun, she's Catholic, she'll appreciate the drink. Well, now I'm one deep and we just got started. So, there you go. There you go. All right, guys. Now that's caught up. Let's get into this document. So obviously this is from Lynn Hunt's Pinker Cox Hertz. We have the Index of Authorities. Statement regarding oral argument. I'm not going to read this table of contents. Nonsense. Here's their Index of Authorities. Let's get their statement. So if you remember, Markey surprisingly denied oral, whereas unsurprisingly, Ron and Monica have both consented to oral, as has Funimation as a whole. Again, the only surprise non-oral there is Markey. So, statement regarding oral argument. The facts and legal arguments are adequately presented in the briefs and record, and it is not likely that the decisional process would be significantly aided by oral argument. Oh, wait. Oh, no. I'm wrong. Sorry. Funimation says no to oral. No to oral from Funimation. I must have been thinking of morons. Accordingly, Appellate Funimation Productions LLC believes that the court can resolve the case based solely on the parties' briefs. But if the court is inclined to grant any other party's request for oral argument, Funimation requests the opportunity to participate. Thus, Funimation conditionally requests oral argument. So there you go. So Funimation, like, what is this? What kind of consent is this? Can you condition? Look, y'all, I'm not into the whole orgy thing, but if they're gonna do it, I mean, then I'm in it. I'm not into this group stuff, but if you're gonna give it to someone else, I better be getting wet too. That's how that goes. So the issues presented, these are the issues, 7 issues. I mean, there were 8, but they must just ignore the one that doesn't deal with Funimation, I guess. Let's just get into this. Statement of facts. So let's see how they frame their case. Right? How they frame their case. Please never say that again. Vic Mignogna is a well-known voice actor in the anime world. As he alleged in his first amended petition, Vic has performed voices for animated characters for over 22 years, mainly in anime productions. In addition to his voice work, Vic attends as many as 35 to 40 fan conventions per year, where he earns appearance fees from convention producers, as well as fees from signing autographs, taking photographs with fans, and appearing on guest panels. Vic performed as the lead character in Dragon Ball Super Broly, which was released by Funimation in the United States in January 2019. Appellate Funimation production dubs Japanese anime productions into English for distribution within the United States from 2004 through 2018. Vic provided voice acting services to Funimation for multiple dubbed anime productions, many of which are part of the popular Japanese Dragon Ball series. In 2018, Funimation cast Vic as English voice for Broly, the lead character in the fantasy anime martial arts film Dragon Ball Super Broly. Funimation released Dragon Ball Super Broly on January 16th, 2019. Now, they have done a different style of citation here. Kind of interestingly, they have chosen to do inline citations for their cites to the record. Now, both Marky and Vic, and I believe Moron, but I haven't looked. I didn't think to look for this. I believe they all did footnote citations for their cites to the record. There's no difference. It's just a preference. Now, Judge Chupp refused to consider much of the evidence that Vic now relies on in his brief. Specifically, Vic withdrew his own affidavit plus the affidavits of Chuck Huber and Chris Slatosh after Appellee's questioned the truth of the notary certificates on those affidavits. Without explaining these circumstances, fucking lie, right there. First page of only lies. They explain the circumstances right away. They explain the circumstances in the actual hearing, which is cited. Vic cites his TCPA response, which relied on these affidavits throughout his brief. Oh, well, so did y'all. And again, this is a statement of the case that needs to be reiterated from Vic's perspective. All of the defendants assert that the affidavits were withdrawn, that the affidavits had supporting arguments in the TCPA response, and that they responded to those affidavits, but similarly assert that the unsworn declarations meant to replace those affidavits must be excluded for surprise, even though they are substantially identical, which I believe is in Moron's filing. They say that they're substantially identical to the affidavits. So what we have are affidavits that were withdrawn, attempted to be replaced by unsworn declarations, denied by Chupp, sort of, but not quite denied by Chupp. And that may actually be the problem for the defendants here, because Ty made a trial amendment in the courtroom at the TCPA hearing. He said, I would like to make a trial amendment to replace the affidavits with the unsworn declarations. And Chupp didn't rule on it. What he said was, I'm probably going to consider the affidavits. I've already read them. I mean, I can't really not consider them. And then he decided to not consider them. So he didn't give him a chance to object because there was no ruling on that at all. So that alone may be enough to get those unsworn declarations in. And of course, the ultimate problem with excluding the unsworn declarations is you already responded to them in your arguments, in your response, because it's the exact same info that was in the affidavits that they keep saying are fraudulent, which it's their job to say they're fraudulent, even though they weren't fraudulent. They were faulty, or they were improperly notarized. It doesn't make the affidavits fraudulent or any information fraudulent or how they were obtained fraudulent. It just means that the notary was defective. The way to remedy a defective notary, an error in form on an affidavit, is literally to allow the opportunity for the party to replace the affidavit with a legally substantially similar document. You just correct the defect. Because to not correct the defect in a statement like that would be prejudicial to someone holding evidence. To say, no, you can't have the evidence because the notary is improper. That's a defect in form, and you can't do it. That would be prejudicial. So you should allow them to correct it. And they all admit that it's the same damn things, just that it's unsworn declarations. Since Ty actually asked for it in open court as a trial amendment, Chup didn't rule on that request. Now we have a problem. And again, it's just Chup being a lazy pile of garbage that causes yet another problem in this case. And so, but it can't be stressed enough. They don't want those affidavits in there. Despite Ron Toye saying, I love the affidavits. The affidavits help us. Okay, sure. Allow them in. Allow them in then. But they don't want them in there. Why? With those affidavits, they're in a whole heap of trouble on several issues. So anyway, these circumstances are actually explained. Vic cites his TCPA response, which relied on these affidavits throughout his brief. Vic's brief at FNS 14 and 19, 81 and 89. In addition, Judge Chup excluded Vic's second amended petition and its attachments as untimely filed. Per the parties' Rule 11 agreement, this is a bad ruling because the Rule 11 agreement covers the TCPA responses. It does not cover a second amended petition. Period. It doesn't do it. It was improperly done. Now the appeals court may uphold it. And if they do, there is no justice. There isn't any. Because I was thinking about this earlier. The TCPA's purpose, as stated in, I believe, Markey's document, is to create a just and equitable outcome for all parties. If the outcome relies on a procedural rule to stop valid evidence, otherwise valid evidence, from being entered, then there is no justice or equity in that system. Period, period, period. If the second amended petition and its attachments would create an outcome that would allow to move past TCPA because that evidence would set up a prima facie showing, then the only just outcome would be to allow the evidence because the case is non-frivolous and therefore the TCPA was not meant to exclude it. I hope we follow that line of reasoning. The purpose of the TCPA is not, and this is in the documents or in the text of the statute, the purpose of the TCPA is not to exclude meritorious lawsuits. That's not why it's there. And the justice in the TCPA goes both ways and protects both the plaintiff and defendant by the operative language of the statute. That needs to be said. It just needs to be said. Here, it needs to be said in their response briefs. And the fact that they don't want evidence in shows just how unjust of a result they're seeking. They don't want justice. They want a swift resolution in their favor. And those are different things. All right. The effect of these rulings is addressed below. All right, back to here. Allegations of past misconduct by Vic again surfaced online and in relevant media after the release of Dragon Ball Super Broly. On the same day that Funimation released Dragon Ball Super Broly, Funimation was tagged on Twitter by user Hanlea with the question, "Hey Funimation, why do you employ a known pedophile?" Interestingly enough, and they should go ahead and cover this, I would think, it's isn't about Vic. Because they tried to say that this prompted the look into Vic, but it didn't. Or shouldn't have. This is about Illich Guardiola. And even Mars Girl pointed that out. Now, unfortunately, they can't introduce new evidence. But this doesn't specifically reference Vic. And a link to allegations of sexual misconduct at anime conventions by Vic at anime conventions. I don't think that's actually true. It's a link to Hanlea's post on Pretty Ugly Little Liars. And that post was questioned by Mars Girl. And then reciting other negative social media medial posts about Vic. Within the next few days, Funimation learned of additional allegations of sexual misconduct by Vic at anime conventions through negative Twitter posts about Vic and from other sources within the anime community. Oh, did they? I don't think that's actually a true statement. They learned about the things that they investigated through Monica Rial, right? Vic responded to the negative publicity with a Twitter apology to his many fans on January 20th, 2019. Guys, it needs be said. Never, ever apologize to the mob. Ever! If people have a pitchfork at your throat and you say, I'm sorry, the pitchfork doesn't go away. Ever. Ever. It can't be stressed enough. The pitchfork doesn't go away. So, no. Don't do it. That said, this isn't actually an apology, and if you just go ahead and read the bottom paragraph, finally, any allegations of sexual harassment, sexual assault, or most disturbingly, pedophilia are completely and utterly false. Denying anything from the get-go. The apology has nothing to do with the allegations of misconduct by Vic. Whatever they are. He flat out says none of those ever happened. What were they apologizing for? He apologized that some fan might come up and homophobia. Apologizing that anyone would ever no, actually doesn't apologize. I sincerely apologize to any convention staff member who ever felt I was anything less than kind and grateful to be included in their event. Unknown to most staffers, contractual agreements made in advance with cons were occasionally not honored when I arrived, and that made me frustrated. Does not excuse making anyone feel badly, and I'm deeply sorry. It actually does exclude making people feel badly. It does excuse it. Guys, if you go anywhere and you have a contractual agreement that something will be provided and it isn't there, they have breached their contract. They have done the wrong thing. And you do have the right to say, hey, this isn't correct. I need this fixed now. That's okay. That's actually your right because they gave you that right in the contract. You have acquired that right through your exercise of contractual exchange. Okay? So, but whatever. Sincerely apologize to anyone who ever felt my interaction with them was crossing a line. A hug or a kiss on the cheek or forehead was crossing a line. Never would it be my intent to make anyone feel uncomfortable. Rather, it was meant to show gratitude or support. And he shouldn't have apologized for this, but this isn't what they're talking about. Because, newsflash, nobody at conventions actually thinks a hug, a kiss on the cheek, or a kiss on the forehead is anything other than abso-fucking-lutely innocuous. And we've got to stop pretending that anybody actually thinks this. Because every single person at every convention ever has hugged someone, kissed them on the cheek or the forehead. It's just a normal human encounter. And nobody in this case thinks otherwise. Marky has put those fat lips on tons of people. So has Monica. Some of them without consent. It's bullshit. In his tweet, Vic acknowledged that his conduct at numerous public conventions, which he's downplayed. No, he doesn't downplay it. This is amazing. It's not a downplay because he addresses the serious stuff here. A hug or kiss on the cheek or forehead may have caused his fans to become uncomfortable, and he promised not to interact in the same way with fans in the future. How does he downplay that? That's not a downplay. Funimation investigated the allegations of misconduct made against Vic, found the allegations to be credible, and terminated its business relationship with Vic on January 28th. Because of the allegations circulating on social media about Vic, Funimation asked the Human Resources Department at Sony, which owns Funimation, to investigate. Beginning on January 22nd, 2019, SPE's Executive Director of Employee Relations, Tammy Dembo, investigated allegations made against Vic by his anime co-star defendant Monica Rial by two fans who interacted with Vic at a convention. This is actually a lie. Those two fans didn't make those allegations. Monica did. Or wait, I don't know that. I know that this one, and by a former Funimation employee, that was actually made by Monica. This one I'm not positive, although I believe they reached out to the Yost twins rather than vice versa. Based on her interviews of the two fans, Rial and Vic himself, among others. That's an interesting fucking statement, isn't it? Has anybody noticed how fucking interesting it is that they have skirted around this goddamn issue the entire time? Look at how they worded that. Two fans who interacted with Vic at a convention, Monica Rial, and by a former Funimation employee. Based on her interviews of the two fans, Rial, and of Vic himself, among others. You have a specific person named here, and you didn't investigate this charge, did you? Who else did they talk to? Because they could have just listed her. Who else would they talk to? Who is a former employee? That's on the farms. But to my knowledge, that employee has never actually said anything about this. Which is amazing. Because we know from Monica's discovery that Monica reported on behalf of that person. And we still don't have any evidence that they ever talked to that person. They always skirt around that issue. So how did they investigate it? Won't know because they won't produce the investigation. Eric's 778 says, hey man, this is my first super chat. Hey, thanks buddy. Been a big fan for a long time of the show. Lost my job recently because of the virus. Pretty sure they used the virus as an excuse because I went to HR on my sexist. Not sure. On your sexist boss or something like that. Hey, I am really sorry to hear that. COVID has produced some weird stuff, but you know, if you believe it was related to something else, you know, and you have any evidence to back it up, preserve whatever you've got. Take journals, take notes, write down dates, write down phone conversations or anything that you've had. Riku1186 says, hey Nick, sorry I can't sit and watch the stream. Oh, that's no big deal. As a note, I feel these responses highlight how weak the defense's case is and how lucky they got at this hearing. Too much factual lying for my liking. They're really bad. I mean, this alone, this is an interesting way to write this. They could just say that they interviewed the Funimation employee, but they didn't, did they? Pretty sure in their affidavits they didn't either. What are the odds that Funny destroys the investigation docs after 18 months? They don't have investigation docs, buddy. That's the thing. Listen, if they had investigation docs, all they had to do is provide them. And there would have been no lawsuit against Funimation. Like, because their tweet wouldn't be defamatory if they actually could back it up with an investigation. There wouldn't be anything. But what did they talk to? Or who did they talk to? Yost twins, Rial, Vic, among others. Who others? About what? About what? It's not in the affidavit of the interviewer. It's not anywhere. Talk to Ron Toye. You talk to Ron. Denbo concluded the allegations against Vic were credible, and her conclusion was reported to Funimation. On January 29, 2019, Karen Mika, an officer at Funimation, told Vic by telephone that his conduct was unacceptable and that Funimation was letting him go effectively immediately. Weird. Funimation did not make any public statement about its termination of Vic at that time. Shouldn't have ever made it. Didn't need to. Allegations of misconduct against Vic became big news in the anime world and led to online harassment and threats between Vic's supporters and detractors. Vic's public mea culpa wasn't a mea culpa, cited above, did little to quell the public's interest in his bad behavior. First of all, never apologize! In his bad behavior, what bad behavior? Hugs and kisses? Because that's all he apologized for. As multiple industry media sources began writing articles about him. For example, January 25th, Polygon.com published an article entitled Dragon Ball Super Broly, Voice Actor Responds to Sexual Harassment and Homophobia Claims, where it recounted that some of the misconduct allegations against Vic went back as far as 2010. January 30th, 2019, Anime News Network, which bills itself as the internet's most trusted anime news source. Oh my god, Volney, get your mouth off of Anne's cock. Holy shit. Published an article entitled Far From Perfect, Fans Recount Unwanted Affection from Voice Actor Vic Mignogna. In that article, Anime News Network described several stories of inappropriate conduct by Vic at anime conventions. Too bad we can't put a big fat ass asterisk on there on how they had to retract some of them as being outright fabrications without the consent of the people whose pictures they used. Too bad we can't put on there that several people submitted stories that were not negative and A&N just ignored those. But, you know. Funimation was not the only anime production company to end its relationship with Vic in early 2019. On February 4th, production company Rooster Teeth contacted Anime News Network to issue the statement that effective today, Vic Mignogna is no longer part of the cast of RWBY, and Rooster Teeth is ending all associations with Vic. This will not affect creative content of RWBY. Well, press X to doubt on that. As the comments to these and other articles referenced below show, the allegations against Vic caused social media warfare among anime fans. Appellee's defendants Monica Rial, Jamie Markey, and Ron Toye had their own social media confrontations with Vic's supporters based on their own experiences with Vic. The back and forth among anime fans became so heated that Vic himself issued a tweet on February 8th. Vic, I love you, but damn it. He caved to Ron Toye's request here that called upon his fans to stop their threatening behavior immediately. You are not ever responsible for your fans. You are not. They are the internet. We don't even know if they're your fans. Never, ever, ever, ever ask your fans to do things. Don't do it. Like positive things, sure. Hey, support this thing. Yeah, never ask them to, because you're now somehow accepting the responsibility of people you may have never met. Why? Ever. It's come to my attention there have been threats made towards others by fans in support of me. That's not true, Vic. It's not actually true. You got lied to. Let me be perfectly clear that I would never condone anything approaching this whatsoever, and I call upon anyone doing it to stop this immediately. And again, I mean, this isn't a big deal, but don't do it. It's not your responsibility. Someone says, hey, you need to tell so-and-so to stop doing something. Fuck off. That's not actually your fan. That's not anybody who likes you or supports you. And guys, don't ever concern troll someone you like. It's not their responsibility or yours to police anybody else on the internet. It's not your job, and you can't do it. Vic's effort to admonish his fans had little effect, and the social media warfare continued. And this is the other thing. It doesn't work. February 11th, 2019, Funimation published a truthful statement about its decision to terminate its working relationship with Vic. A truthful statement. Okay. They didn't argue it was truthful before. Well, I mean, they argued that the individual elements were true. Tet says, job temporarily laid everyone off and closed for good without paycheck. Suit pending. If any of y'all need PC, Mac, tune-up, or virus removal, hit me on Twitter at TetButt. So there you go, guys. At TETBUTT. You know, that's someone who can apparently help you out with some tech issues if you need them. Due to the continued publicity surrounding Vic, that's actually not true. They left out that this was due to Monica prompting them for a statement in email. Why? Oh, that civil conspiracy thing. Funimation decided to issue a short statement regarding its decision to end its relationship with Vic, which it did February 11th. Funimation tweeted this. Everyone, we wanted to give you an update on the Vic Mignogna situation following an investigation. Funimation recast Vic Mignogna and Morose Mononoke in Season 2. Funimation will not be engaging Vic Mignogna in the future productions. In response to continued heated back and forth between anime fans about Vic, Funimation published a second tweet the same day. Part of our core mission is to celebrate the diversity of the anime community and to share our love for this genre and to support its positive impact on all. We do not condone any kind of harassment or threatening behavior being directed at anybody. Notice these words should be included in the word count, but they're not. The purpose of this additional tweet was to encourage... this is a fact question. This is a fact question, by the way. You don't get to do this. This is a vulnerable point of attack that Volney has left here. The purpose of this additional tweet was to encourage civility in the anime community and to confirm Funimation's position that no one should engage in harassment or threatening behavior. No, that's the testimony of Scott Barretto, but we don't actually know that that was the actual purpose, do we? Funimation nowhere stated or implied that any of its tweets that Vic had engaged in any harassment or threatening behavior, sexual or otherwise. They're still up on this. That's a fact question too. These are fact arguments. This is not what they should be doing. Vic did not deny that his behavior at conventions made others feel uncomfortable, which he admitted in a tweet published February 13th. Vic, again, never, ever. Ladies and gentlemen, for all the figs out there like Jay Woolman, the biggest fig I've ever met. Never met? I don't know. I know him on Twitter, I guess. For all the figs out there who say, get yourself a PR firm. A PR firm will fix you. Never. Not even once. Should a PR firm advise you to do anything like this. Ever. Ever. I can't say it enough. PR firms are like law firms. They are decades behind social media. Decades. PR firms deal with Kobe Bryant allegedly raping someone, right? Now, I don't think Kobe Bryant did that. Doesn't really matter, does he? He's dead now. PR firms deal with people who get coverage from major news publications, not minor news publications. PR firms deal with people with CNN level news, MSNBC, Fox News. They don't deal with Anime News Network and Twitter. And they don't know how. If you want to know how to respond to someone, talk to someone who deals with people on Twitter. If Vic had asked me, for example, he didn't. I'm not his lawyer. If he had asked me about this statement or the last statement, what should I say? Nothing. Nothing. You shouldn't say anything about it. Well, I have to say something about it. Okay, here's what you say then. It's all false. Business as usual. Ignore the trolls. That's it. That's it. It's all false. All of it. Literally everything is false. It's false. Why? Because it's Twitter, and Twitter is bullshit. Nothing is true on Twitter. Even you could read the dry text and say that this is text from, what's a book? Worst Pills, Best Pills. That's not by Jordan Peterson, but we're going to pretend it is. Worst Pills, Best Pills by Jordan Peterson. You could read the text of that book straight out and just copy it onto Twitter. And I would tell you that's a lie, because Twitter is a lie. It's just a lie. It's the least reliable thing on the planet, because anybody can go on and just say whatever they want. There's nothing, and there's no liability. There's no culpability. You don't even know who's behind the account. You don't even know if the person who says they're behind the account's behind the account. Just don't do it. So no, you don't respond. And if you do respond, it's all false. You guys know me. That's it. Never, ever, 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 ever apologize for this stuff. Because if you're apologizing for something sincerely, you'll go to the person that you wronged. Note the challenge. Well, I don't know who I wronged. That's because you didn't fucking wrong anybody. You didn't do it. You didn't do it. It's a trap. It's got a penis tucked up in its cheeks. It's a trap. You didn't actually wrong them. If you wronged them, you would know. And you would be able to go to that person and sincerely, not via mass tweet, say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to harm you. Thank you for sharing with me how this impacted you. It was never my intention. I am so sorry. How can I make it up to you? What can I do better? Will you forgive me? That's an apology that matters. The public apology doesn't matter because you don't know who it was because you didn't do it. This burns me up that people look, and this is not a criticism of Vic. Just a guy. Didn't know how to use Twitter the right way. He just, hey, I'm going to this convention. Love to see you there. My pants will be extra gay this time. Great. Perfect. Wonderful. He's a master of it. And he's done it very well. This way, because my screen is mirrored. This thing, notice how that doesn't look like any other Vic tweet you've ever seen? That's not how he uses Twitter. It's not how he should use Twitter either. All right. In the tweet, Vic admitted that it was impossible for him to discern another person's personal boundaries. Yes! It is, of course, impossible to discern another person's personal boundaries if they don't make them clear. And that he regretted anything, that's a nothing. That means nothing. Said or done out of ignorance that has put anyone outside of their comfort zone. Of course. Of course. You said a joke. And that joke accidentally offended someone. Of course you regret that. You feel, oh, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to offend you. That wasn't the intent. Let me make it up to you. I'll buy you a drink, or I'll buy you a Coke, or I'll buy you Milk Duds. Sorry about that, pal. Will you forgive me? Done. Handled. Don't apologize to the world. The world you didn't harm. He concluded that he was just as susceptible to struggles and difficulties as anyone. So no special treatment there. They're treating it specially. But he's specifically being unspecial. And that he had identified areas where he needed growth. Well, I mean, he is short. So that's a thing. And that he would be taking this time to recommit to God and seeking the help of a counselor. Yeah. So, by the way, I don't know if you noticed this, but none of those say, I raped someone. or I sexually assaulted someone, or I sexually harassed someone, or I stole money from a Walmart, or I stole a bottle of liquor from a boy's at the local liquor store, or the Shop and Save, or I broke a bottle of gin while walking down the aisle of it. Like, none of that is actually an apology that is specific enough to say that any of it applies to what they're talking about, but they're trying to use it in that way. And of course they will. This is why you just don't say anything. It's not their business. And it's not the world's business either. Okay, this is nerdy of me. Give me a second. I've had this song stuck in my head for the past couple days. It's I used to be a big Bob Marley fan. Just really the Legend album, because I'm an entry-level Bob Marley fan, or was. I mean, I like other songs, but Legend's a great album. Really is, okay? And there's One Love, right? And there's a line in the song that's fantastic. There's a line in the song that's fantastic, and it says, "Is there a place for the hopeless sinner who's hurt all mankind just to save his home?" Right? That's the essence of this apology. That's the essence of these public statements. You're acting like you hurt the whole world, and you're trying to save your home, yourself, your thing. You're trying to save you. But the problem is, there isn't a hopeless sinner who hurts all mankind just to save his home. You just don't. You can't do it. You can't hurt all mankind in that way. It's not on you, ever. It never can be. You're not that important. I know this is hard for voice actors to understand, because voice actors are very, very important people, right? They talk over Chinese cartoons or whatever. I know it's very tough for them, but you didn't do this. And Vic, and I think there's a little bit of lovable narcissism in this. I think he genuinely thought maybe he actually impacted a bunch of people in a negative way. You didn't, pal. You didn't do that. You don't just generally negatively hurt people. It's a really hard thing to do. You didn't coof on a store full of produce, right? You didn't get a bunch of people infected. And if you did, you probably knew that. The very fact that he doesn't even know what happened or who was impacted by it shows you didn't actually do it. Anyway, sorry for that little rant. People, you've got to understand. I'm telling you this for you. For you. Because at some point in your life, you're going to be accused of causing damage to a bunch of people you didn't have shit to do with. And they won't ever tell you who it was or how you hurt them. It's always just that you did. That's where they've got you. And that's where you need to say, I didn't do that, though. Bring me the person who I harmed, and I will make the apology. But you didn't do it. Vic's February 13th tweet was picked up by several news organizations. PR firms, y'all. PR firms. Including Anime News Network. Oh, that's a big surprise. Good job, Volney. Don't gag, buddy. And media attention continued to follow Vic through March and April 2019 with articles on IO9, Polygon.com, Anime News Network, Newsweek, and Variety. By the same group of people. Vic sued Funimation, Marky, Rial, Ronald Toye in April 2019. Vic filed suit on April 18, 2019 in an effort to hold Funimation liable for defamation for its February 11th tweets and vicariously liable for the separate social media conduct of its co-defendants Marky, Rial, and Toye. In his petition, Manana sued Funimation for defamation TI with existing and prospective contracts, civil conspiracy, and vicarious liability. Funimation denied liability and pleaded affirmative defenses to Vic's claims, which were never addressed by the trial court. We must point out that Chup in all of his infinite wisdom, never got around to addressing any of the affirmative defenses. In fact, when Lemoyne, listen, Your Honor, I would like to raise my Section 230 defense. And Judge Chubb says, I don't want to hear about that. Get to the case. He just literally said, I don't fucking care about your argument. That's it. None of your affirmative defenses mattered. Volney didn't rule on any of them. You didn't press him for a ruling on any of them. You didn't press him for a review of any of them. Nothing. Don't bring up the affirmative defenses. They don't exist. Funimation contended that its February 11th tweets were not actionable because they were truthful and not defamatory. That's a fact question. And that in any event, Vic could not show that Funimation published its tweets with actual malice or that Vic had been damaged. Except you talk about an investigation that you did that you didn't do. That would be a lie. That would be the malice. If you did the investigation and say that you did the investigation or hired someone to do the investigation or had your parent company do the investigation, they didn't actually do the investigation the way that they said, then you would have knowledge of the falsity. It's a lie. So again, truthfulness. This is a fact question, and these facts fall in favor of Vic. This is where Chupp chupped up. I can't state it enough. That's why I hate going through these. It pisses me off. Because Chupp chupped up. If it's a fact question on truthfulness, then it falls in favor of the non-moving party, which is Vic. Period. Funimation also contended there was no legal or factual basis for the trial court to hold Funimation vicariously liable for the actions of Marky, Riel, and Toye. And again, a fact question. Vicarious liability is a fact question for a jury, not for TCPA. In addition, Funimation pleaded that Vic was libel-proof, not ruled libel-proof by the lower courts. Funimation and its co-defendants timely filed TCPA motions. Funimation filed its TCPA motions on July 1st, 2019. Monica Rial, Ron Toye, and Jamie Markey filed their motions on July 19th, 2019. These motions were originally set for hearing on August 8th, but the parties agreed to move the hearing to September 6th to allow Vic more time to respond. August 6th, parties signed a Rule 11 agreement in which they agreed that Vic would file his responses to TCPA motions by August 30th. Vic filed his response with supporting affidavits from himself, Chuck Huber, and Chris Slatosh early in the morning on August 31st, 2019, along with a motion for leave to file the response late due to technical difficulties, which Judge Chupp granted. By the way, I don't think anybody objected to that. After it was pointed out that the affidavits submitted by Vic from himself, Huber, and Slatosh were fraudulently notarized, that is, the affiants were not in the physical presence of the notary, Vic's lead counsel Ty Beard, when they purportedly executed their affidavits, Vic quickly withdrew the affidavits from Judge Chupp's consideration. In his brief in this court, however, Vic cites the affidavits as evidence without explaining that he withdrew them and that Judge Chupp refused to consider them. Because again, Judge Chupp didn't refuse to consider them. He retroactively decided not to consider them. That's a little bit different. He actually said he would. I'm moving over to Bareface Canadian whiskey because it's super natural. I'm a chupper, baby, so why don't you kill me? Oh, no. No! We can't advocate that. Why is there a sermon going on in the chat? I don't know. Because he withdrew the affidavits, Vic tried to remedy his lack of evidence. By filing a second amended petition 3 days before the TCPA hearing with new, identical declarations signed by the same three witnesses and several other attachments that Vic left out of his original TCPA response. Uh-oh. Did you just argue for the inclusion of those three declarations? They're identical. You argued they were a surprise in court. Were you lying then or are you lying now? Fucking liar. You know it wasn't a surprise. Amain Mizuhashi, I know it's a Beck reference. I know the song. I grew up. I was born in 81. You think I don't know Beck? I got 2 turntables and a microphone upside your head. What? Defendants' appellees objected to the late filing and the late submission of evidence because it was after the parties agreed upon August 30th deadline and because of surprise. What surprise? Funimation also argued that it was improper under Texas Rule of Civil Procedure 59 for Vic to attempt to meet his evidentiary burden by attaching evidence to his petition. Now, again, they didn't get a ruling on this, so that's waived. The other problem is Ty made a trial amendment and the judge improper. So even if you don't get the second amended petition in, which I will contend they should get the second amended petition in, but even if you don't, the affidavits almost have to come in because they've admitted that they're identical. They just cured the defect in form. Why don't they want them in? Because they're devastating. Judge Chupp granted Funimation's TCPA motion and in doing so refused to consider Vic's late filed second amended petition. Judge Chupp held a hearing on the TCPA motions on September 6th where he dismissed all claims pleaded against Funimation except for defamation. After ordering the parties to mediation, which was unsuccessful, Judge Chupp entered his order dismissing all of Vic's claims against all defendants. In his order, Judge Chupp stated that he did not consider Vic's affidavits because they were withdrawn and that he did not consider the second amended petition because the evidence was filed late in violation of the parties' Rule 11 agreement. And they need to hammer that amended petitions were not covered by the Rule 11 agreement. That's not in the language of the agreement. Nobody on earth mentioned amended petitions or amended pleadings in the Rule 11 agreement at all. None. 0, 0, 0. They must hit on this because this is a gross misreading of the Rule 11 agreement where Judge Chupp reads it as, well, it says responses to the TCPA motions to dismiss. That must also mean amending the petitions. And Ty specifically said, no, it doesn't, Your Honor. And then they said, yes, it does. So here's the real scary thing. If they didn't have an actual meeting of the minds on the contract, then they don't have a fucking Rule 11 agreement. They don't get to, this is parole evidence rule. You don't get to enter some sort of extraneous outside of the agreement argument that it must include something else. Because that Rule 11 agreement is the agreement that's laid out. Not the agreement plus whatever the judge decides. This is improper. And they need to hammer on this again and again and again. Judge Chupp can't read a basic Rule 11 agreement, which means he can't read a basic contract. And that's fucking embarrassing. If it was written, it was written. The Rule 11 agreement was written. They agreed to it in function on the phone and they on a phone hearing, and they agreed to it in form after negotiating the Rule 11 agreement. There's a back and forth of email to back up that they actually negotiated out the terms of the Rule 11 agreement. They wrote it down and approved it. Period. You don't get to include other stuff later. With respect to Vic's claims against Funimation, Judge Chupp held that all those claims are subject to the TCPA, that Vic is a public figure under this court reasoning in Lane versus Ferris for the purposes of his defamation claim. That's not actually true. Unless he did that in the order. He didn't do that at the court. And they didn't actually have an argument about Lane versus Ferris at the hearing or even effectively in the motion documents. For the purpose of his defamation claim, and that Vic had failed to establish by clear and specific evidence a prima facie case for each element of his claims. After conducting an evidentiary hearing, Judge Chupp entered a final judgment on November 25th that awarded attorneys' fees, expenses, and sanctions to the defendants' appellees. Woo! We're just through the facts section, y'all. We're on page 24 of 71. Gonna have to go a little faster. Take a shot every time they lie in this document. Fam, why are you trying to kill me? Summary of the argument. There's no reason for this court to reverse the trial's dismissal of Vic Mignogna's claims against Funimation. When given the opportunity to provide clear and specific evidence of the elements of his claims against Funimation as required by the TCPA, Vic failed to do so. Thus, the trial court properly dismissed Vic's claims and awarded Funimation its attorney's fees and expenses and to sanction Vic. Specifically, Vic failed to show that Funimation's 2 truthful tweets about the Vic Mignogna situation. Again, this is a bad thing to put in their argument. They've raised truth as an issue in their thing. Truth falls to the plaintiff in TCPA. So by saying that they're truthful, they've raised a trial argument, not a TCPA argument. Volney left it open. About the Vic Mignogna situation, defame Vic by implication. Even if he had made that showing, Vic failed to show that Funimation published its tweets with actual malice. Namely, that Funimation knew its tweets falsely implied that Vic had engaged in harassing and threatening behavior. Except that they would have done the investigation and known what they were tweeting. Actually, Scott Barretto states that he was the one who made the tweets, acting on behalf of Funimation, and he tweets that he knew about the situation. Or that Funimation published its tweets with reckless disregard for the truth. So an officer, the social media captain, chief, or whatever of Funimation, tweets something out, and he's supposed to not have all of the knowledge of Funimation imputed to him? That's nonsense. And Vic failed to show any actual damages caused by the tweets, which he was required to do so because the tweets were not defamatory per se. Except that accusing someone of sexual harassment, harassing and threatening behavior. That's interesting. Don't they say sexual or otherwise in that tweet? I don't remember. Maybe the chat remembers the language of the tweet, but I believe it's sexual or otherwise, isn't it? Why did they leave that out? I wonder. Vic failed to provide the trial court any Vic similarly failed to show that Funimation tortiously interfered with Vic's existing and prospective contracts with anime conventions. Vic failed to provide the trial court any such contracts. Kamea-con was provided. Judge Shep ignored it. Much less show that Funimation interfered with them and caused Vic any actual damages. This is the most nefarious thing that Funimation does. Sue me, Funimation. Funimation leverages its influence over contracts to control who the guests are all the time. Fuck you, sue me. Funimation leverages its contracts, leverages its control over voice actors to withhold or grant them to control conventions all the time. And conventions are fucking terrified of Funimation. Conventions are terrified that Funimation will not allow their employees to go to certain conventions. Funimation lies about this constantly. But everybody knows about it. Everybody in the industry knows that Funimation can ghost a convention and it will not have access to the overwhelming majority of anime voice actors in North America. Period. Fuck them. They are such lying cunts on this that it's disgusting. Because every convention runner knows it. Ask one. Hey, what would happen if you went against Funimation? We wouldn't get any Funimation employees at our show. But they're independent contractors, right, Funimation? Right? Vic also failed to establish any basis for holding Funimation vicariously liable for the social media publications of the independent contractor voice actors Monica Rial and Jamie Markey. They have no control over them. They can only control what conventions they go to, what they say on social media. Monica only had to ask in an email specifically what she could say about the Vic incident. You know, they have no control over them, though. Funimation did not control what they posted on their personal social media accounts. This is a lie. It's a lie. It's in the Funimation. There are Funimation emails. Right. I think I have them. I can actually produce these emails that say that if you post about an upcoming secret project you could be in a lot of trouble. Don't do it. Because oftentimes they start recording on shows before the contracts are finalized. You said produce it. I have in the past. I don't have them handy at my fingertips, so I can't just do it now. But I've done it in other shows. I've shown that email. And neither of them were acting within the course and scope of any employment or agency relationship with Funimation when they tweeted about Vic. Not true. Not true. Tweeting is part of their employment relationship with Funimation. In fact, they are directed to promote shows that they are in on their Twitter specifically. Tweeting is part of their contract. Will they let you produce them though? I've produced them already. I've done it on stream before. I just don't have them right now. I don't have them handy at my fingertips. I'd pull them up in a heartbeat. I'll see if I can get them for the Monica show. I just don't want to go searching through my emails and archives right now. But I have them. They're still there. Because Vic's claims against Funimation failed, so did his conspiracy claim. Vic has presented no reason for the courts to reverse the trial court's decision to dismiss Vic's conspiracy claim. Finally, the trial court did not abuse its discretion in refusing to consider Vic's late filed second amended petition and its attachments, nor did the trial court abuse its discretion in overruling Vic's baseless objections to Funimation's evidence. For these reasons, the trial court's final judgment should be affirmed. Argument. TCPA was passed, quote, to encourage and safeguard the constitutional rights of persons to petition freely, speak freely, associate freely, and otherwise participate in government to the maximum extent permitted by law, and at the same time protect the rights of a person to file a meritorious lawsuits for demonstrable injury. This part of the TCPA is literally ignored in so many decisions that it's embarrassing. Texas, that is your shame. Thus, at an early stage in litigation, a defendant may file a motion to dismiss pursuant to the TCPA. Once a motion to dismiss is filed, a burden shifting mechanism, there's no burden shifting mechanism, goes into effect. Burden shifting doesn't exist. That's law Twitter being fucking wrong. First, a defendant moving for dismissal has the burden to show by a preponderance of the evidence that the plaintiff filed a legal action that is based on, relates to, or is in response to the defendant's exercise of rights to free speech, right to petition. So here they acknowledge that it's a prior version of the TCPA. Or the right of association. Second, the defendant satisfies that burden to avoid... If the defendant satisfies that burden to avoid dismissal, a plaintiff must establish by clear and specific evidence a prima facie case for each essential element of its claim. Requirement for clear and specific evidence means plaintiff must provide enough detail to show the factual basis for its claim. Third, even if plaintiff establishes a prima facie case, the defendant can still obtain dismissal if he establishes by a preponderance of the evidence each essential element of a valid defense to the non-movement's claim. Notice, none of them have actually done this. They're going to talk about how they filed their affirmative defenses. None of them actually established by a preponderance of any evidence each essential element of any claim. Hold on. Okay, sorry. The court reviews the trial court's ruling on TCPA motions to dismiss de novo. As explained below, Vic has provided no reason for reversal under these well-established standards. Trial court properly dismissed Vic's defamation claim against Funimation. In his brief, Vic... hold on, I gotta clarify something. In his brief, Vic concedes that the TCPA applies to his defamation claim against Funimation. Does he? I think they actually... Oh, on defamation. Maybe they do concede to that. I don't remember. To meet his burden under the TCPA, Vic was therefore required to provide clear and specific evidence that Funimation published a false statement of fact. Done. The statement defamed Vic. Done. Funimation acted with actual malice because Vic is a public figure. Actually done. They did this. And the statement proximately caused damage. Done. He actually did all four of these steps. I can't say it enough. He said that the statements that Funimation made were false. He said that they were statements of fact. He said that the overall gist of the statements were to be taken as false, that Vic had somehow sexually harassed people. He said that a reasonable person could conclude that this happened based on those statements and that that was false and that that caused him damage. And it obviously did cause him damage because it alleges sexual harassment, period. BTL Video Production says, and thus on the third day, Ron said, yes, please plow my wife. Before Drexel went down, he states, it is what it is. And Monica went up as Ron partook in photography, the Lord punishing him with remote 6934. Come on. No! That citation killed me. Stop it. Stop it. 6934. No. Why does the internet exist and why do I love it so? I don't even think those chubby hands would attract Drexel. He would see those chompers and be like, nah, I'm out, fam. Let me tell you a story. This is the bareface talking, and I'm not even ashamed to pour a second glass. Let me tell you a story about Drexel. I've been friends with Drexel for a long time. Okay? Drexel talks the talk about big girl hands and all this stuff. All right? Let me tell you why I know for a fact that Drexel would not be caught dead in the warm embrace of chubby Monica. One day I'm hanging out with Drexel's brother. He suddenly has to go. He suddenly has to leave. And I'm like, what are you doing? We're playing video games or whatever. I don't remember what we were doing. We were either playing video games or eating because that's what we did. He's like, hey, man, I got to go pick up Drex. Why? I don't know. I just got to go get him. I got to go get him right now. So he goes to get him. And I asked Drex later. I'm like, hey, what was up with that? I was hanging out with your brother. We were having a good time. And then he had to leave suddenly to go pick you up. And he said, look, things are getting real. But I had to call him because bitch disrespected the game. I'm out. What do you mean? She disrespected the game. Look, them teeth, disrespectful to the game. And the second that happens, I'm gone. So those that row of veneers, that's too dangerous. That's too dangerous. You can't look, a man makes a mistake once. A man don't make a mistake twice with chompers. You don't do it. You do not do it. Bite me once, shame on you. Bite me twice, never happened. Disrespected the game. So no, BTL, nice try, but those chompers, that's red flags, that's razor wire, that's warning signs all over the place. Because Vic alleged that Funimation's tweets defamed him by implication. It's interesting, right? Because I think Chup actually agreed with this argument in court. Vic was further required to show that an objectively reasonable reader would ascribe the defamatory meaning that Vic attaches to Funimation's tweets. Interestingly enough, not only did they show that an objectively reasonable reader would do it, they showed that fat fucking Monica herself thought of the defamatory meaning. They showed Monica's response to Funimation's tweets. Monica's response was that Vic had engaged in sexual harassment. As explained below. Oh wait, in his order, Judge Chup determined that Vic is a public figure, which meant that Vic was required to provide evidence of Funimation's actual malice in publishing its tweets. Vic does not challenge Judge Chup's public figure determination on appeal. This is not true. He does raise this issue on appeal. Actually, that's weird. They keep arguing this. They should clarify this in their response. It's only a point of error, right? It's only a point of error in Vic's appeal, but whatever. As explained below, trial court properly dismissed Vic's defamation claim against Funimation because Vic failed to meet these elements. Funimation's tweets were truthful and non-defamatory. Oh. The two Funimation tweets at issue. Footnote, Vic admitted that these two tweets are the only statements made by Funimation about him. Yep. As far as he knows. Contain the following truthful, non-defamatory information about Vic. About the Vic Mignogna situation, its aftermath within the anime community. Everyone, we wanted to give you an update on the Vic blah, 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 blah. In his brief, Vic argues that Funimation's tweets, when read together, imply that Funimation's investigation determined, that Vic had engaged in harassing and threatening behavior. Vic's proposed interpretation of Funimation's tweet says more about Vic's guilty conscience. This is a bad again, these dumb fucking lawyers and their need to dunk. This is absurd. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of tweets backing up this objective meaning. The objective meaning. There are hundreds, if not thousands of them. This is John Volney. Let me read it as John Volney for a second. Vic's proposed interpretation of Funimation's tweet says more about Vic's guilty conscience than it does about the tweet's objective meaning. That's not actually true, John. And your need to dunk just raised a fucking fact issue to the appeals court again. Particularly considering the surrounding circumstances. Notably, Vic does not deny that he engaged in inappropriate sexual behavior. Actually, he does. He did it in that apology tweet where he says all of that is an apology. Vic's own witness and supposed friend might be the only accurate thing in this goddamn document. Chuck Huber. Chuck you, Huber. Supposed friend Chuck Huber stated in his withdrawn affidavit at paragraph 77 that he believes Vic utilized his position of privilege in shameful ways to obtain an attempts to obtain sex. By the way, that is an opinion. That is an opinion. And listen. Stone Temple Pilots. My dead man Scott Weiland had advice for people like Vic. My man Scott Weiland had advice for the Vics of the world. Rockstar life, turn off the switch. Hollywood bitch, so fake she seems real. Okay? But listen, I'm watching The Wire now, and everything is lensed through the slums of Baltimore, but it's in the game. That's how you play the game. Vic utilizes his position of privilege in shameful ways to attempts to obtain sex. Who on earth considers a single man attempting to obtain sexual intercourse consensually shameful? Who on earth thinks that a single man, Vic is not married at any relevant time in this case, a single man attempting to obtain consensual sexual intercourse, who thinks that's shameful? And if you do, Minecraft yourself immediately. Immediately. I can't remember the quote, so I won't mention the quote specifically, but If you're buying a Ferrari at 85 and married, you're doing it wrong. Look, if you're married, buy a van. If you're single, buy a Ferrari. Why? Oh, I don't know. It goes fast. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Look. I'm just going to tell you. If you're single, you buy a Ferrari. There are different motivations happening here. There are different motivations. Lady Rackets, not impressed by a Ferrari. I want a Lambo because I've always wanted a Lambo. My entire life I've wanted a Lamborghini since I was a little racklet running around. But if I bought a Lamborghini, do you think that would do anything to impress Lady Rackets? No. I can't bring kids around in a Lamborghini. I can't help out around the house in a Lamborghini. Let's about one of those Lambo SUVs. Maybe that's what I need to do. That's a good idea. It doesn't help. It doesn't help. You know what a van does? I'll tell you. As a married man with 5 children, what a van does. A van lets you take the burden off of Lady Rackets. But Vic wasn't a married man with 5 children. Vic's a single man. There's nothing wrong. There is literally, I can't say this enough. There is nothing wrong with pursuing consensual romantic encounters with another person while you're single. Nothing. And look at how devoid they are. He was engaged to Michelle Specht. Was he though? What was the status of that relationship? What was she doing at the time? How do you even know? Wasn't married. Wasn't married. What's he doing in his free time? Fuck you, who cares? Was it consensual? Yes. Of course it was. Look at him. Sorry to be rude. But every single thing that they put forward about a non-consensual encounter didn't actually occur. Like there's no actual non-consensual romantic encounters that they can point to. None. So what's your criticism? Unmarried man attempts to achieve sexual encounters with other people? Who? Oh, alert the media. Alert the media. Jesus Christ. Listen to these Quakers running around. Well, Marky and Monica definitely aren't running anywhere. But listen to these Quakers walking slowly around, probably panting and wheezing after 12 steps. The first tweet offered truthful, non-defamatory information about Funimation's decision to sever its relationship with Vic. Following an investigation, there's no way to read that other than in a defamatory way. Funimation's second tweet, which was published in response to the heated back and forth. Fucking lie. This is absolutely a lie. This was published as a response to the first tweet in, I think, 11 minutes. This was not a response to heated back and forth. This was 11 minutes from the first tweet, and it's in the thread. It's part of the original tweet, you liars. The only long tweet is the third tweet, which you disregard by combining it into the second. And that was an hour later when reporting that Scott Barretto was too retarded to type a coherent sentence. That's the only delay that you actually had that's appreciable at all. Scott Barretto, too retarded to write English, wrote something incomprehensible that needed clarification and didn't help him. Don't fucking lie. God, I fucking hate attorneys who lie. Stop lying, Volney. Which was published in response to the heated back and forth between Vic's supporters and Vic's detractors. Oh, DSP in the house. Encouraged unity and civility in anime community. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Not at all. In publishing its second tweet, Funimation confirmed its uncontroversial position that it does not condone harassment or threatening behavior directed at anyone, which echoed language from Vic's February 8th tweet, in which he implored his supporters to stop making threats to others. Funimation's second tweet does not reference Vic. Oh, you can unintentionally defame someone by being an idiot, by the way. Nor does it does not reference Vic. It's in the damn thread. Funimation doesn't tweet threads. Funimation makes individual stupid tweets about their stupid shows all day, every day. They don't do this. This is so far out of their Twitter profile that it's embarrassing. That it doesn't. No. Funimation's second tweet does not reference Vic. Yes, it obviously does. You replied to your own tweet. That makes it the same thing. It's literally the same thing. Nor does it reference Funimation's investigation of Vic. Oh yeah. It's two separate things. Accordingly, no reader of ordinary intelligence. Oh my god! Look at how bad they slam Monica fucking dumbass Rial. Hold on. Hold on, I gotta... Look, I don't do this live very often, but we're gonna do this live. Fuck it, we're doing it live. No reader of ordinary intelligence or any objectively reasonable reader would interpret Funimation's tweets as accusing Vic of harassing and threatening behavior as Vic suggests. Let me highlight this. Oh, drunk highlighting is not super effective. Rekieta law uses drunk highlighting. It is not very effective. Let's go on Twitter in just a second. Guys, if you... Look, I'm not asking you to do anything. But if you think this is funny, let's copy this. Let's paste it. Holy shit. Funimation calls Monica... Wait, let me tag Funimation. Calls Monica Rial below ordinary intelligence in a legal document. Whoops, if I could type, that'd be helpful. ROFLMAO. Monica, sorry, you're exceptional. There we go. I tweeted that out. Look, if you want to like it and share it, go ahead. I find it hilarious. Imagine having having the company you work for say, look, it'd take a retarded bitch to think of it this way, when she literally already did. And they know it. They know she did because it was actually brought up in, I think, the second amended petition. Monica Rial's an idiot. And Funimation says so. Oh my god. Woo. Oh no! Oh, why? Why would it happen this way? Bad idea, Nikki. BTL Video Productions. Oh wait, I read that one. Adofos says, Nick, please don't suggest those two whales to start running. I live within a 2-hour distance from them and I don't need an earthquake. We get enough from the fracking. No! No. Oh, man. Okay. Okay. This bitch stupid. That's John Volney. That's not even me. I never put together that someone of subordinary intelligence would literally include Monica Rial in it. Run. Hold on. Ron's out there. Hey, you fuckers at Funimation, I'm coming to the office. I'm coming to the office. You better watch out. She's a beautiful giant creature. Wait, you can't hear that. I'm gonna wreck some Funimation offices. Oh. Give me a minute. Whew. Oh. Oh. Ty, I don't know what you're doing, man, but I need help. I need legal assistance. I need legal help immediately. I need to sue Funimation because they are funnier than I am. I try to be the king of insults of Funimation staff. I think, as a whole, Funimation staff are the stupidest people on the planet. I haven't met one that I like. And that said, well, maybe one. Maybe one. Let's be fair. But most of them are absolutely balls to the wall stupid. And I thought I was better at making fun of them than anybody else. But it turns out that John Volney, representative and mouthpiece of Funimation, which is disgusting regarding ANN's feminine penis. But John Volney, representative of Funimation, happens to be better at making fun of Monica Rial than me. They stole my yes, thank you. The legal theory is conversion. They stole my humor, and I'm done. Thank you. Okay. Funimation seconds. Accordingly, no reader of ordinary intelligence nor any objectively reasonable reader would interpret Funimation's tweets as accusing Vic of harassing and threatening behavior, as Vic suggests. Because Funimation's tweets do not defame Vic, Vic's defamation claim fails at step 1. That's a fact question. Volney, why would you do this way? This is a fact question. You've raised a fact question to the appeals court. Guys, this is not fatal to the case. It's not fatal to the case. But if Vic's team focuses in on the fact that every single document raises a fact issue that was not resolved in favor of the plaintiff, then Judge Chupp, objectively, under the case law, has misapplied the TCPA. Because all factual differences are resolved in favor of the plaintiff as the non-moving party. Period, period, period. All of them, every single one of these dumb assholes has raised a factual question in their appeal when they didn't need to. All they had to say was Judge Chupp was correct. That's it. They didn't need to raise the truthfulness of the issue. They need to say that Judge Chupp determined that there was no evidence provided by Vic. Not that there was a factual question and they resolved it in favor of Funimation. What a terrible line of argument that is. What a terrible line of argument that is. Because now Vic's team can go ahead and say, yet again, another of the defendants has raised as a reason that the dismissal was proper, a fact issue that was not properly resolved in favor of the non-moving party, but rather resolved in favor of defendants without justification from the CHUP court. Over and over again, they can say this on all of these claims because they keep raising fact issues. Those fact issues should be resolved in favor of Vic. And what they should say is that the fact issues were resolved in favor of Vic, and even in light of that resolution, it still failed. That's the argument you take. Not that they should have been resolved in favor of Funimation. That's a stupid argument. Vic failed to show actual malice on the part of Funimation. Oh wait, Funimation pleaded truth as an affirmative defense, which wasn't reviewed by Judge Chupp, and you did not press him for a ruling on it. Because Funimation established that affirmative defense as to its tweets, Judge Chupp properly did. This is not actually true. And again, if I were on Vic's legal team, in my response, I would hammer on the falsity of footnote 6, because Judge Chupp nowhere in his order references any affirmative defenses as being established or otherwise even considered by the court. This is an untrue statement. This is misrepresenting what happened to the court flat out. Period, period, period. It didn't happen. They don't get to just make up shit that the court didn't do. Vic failed to show actual malice on the part of Funimation. Even if this court were to accept Vic's interpretation of Funimation's tweets as defaming him by implication, Vic was required to show that Funimation published tweets with actual malice. Actual malice in the defamation context does not mean injurious motive or ill will toward the plaintiff. Actually, this wasn't pled. I don't believe. What is pled is the fact that they knew what was in the investigation. Therefore, they knew that these tweets were false and defamatory. They have to know the falsehood of the statements because, objectively, they were the ones who did the investigation, so they must know that it's false. This is why Van der Linden versus Khan is actually cited over and over in the documents. Period. This is why. Oh my goodness. I wish I could say retarded on Twitter. Ooh. The bots in the chat will be handled by the mods in the chat. Mod squad, rise up. All right. Let's see. But rather means that the defendant had knowledge of the falsity of the statement or reckless disregard of the truth, citing Lane versus Ferris. The actual malice standard focuses on the defendant's state of mind at the time of publication, not after the defendant was sued. Cruz versus Van Sickle. Oh, yeah, that's good. We only learned that we were wrong later. Yeah, okay. Make that argument, please, John. Please, John. That would be great. Dustman Noroch says, Nick, did you hear about the FBI stealing 80,000 face masks from a guy in Brooklyn? I got these face masks. What do you want me to do? What do you want to do about it? No, I didn't hear about that. Was he price gouging the face masks? Oh, the Dark Bunny Rabbit says, Nick was wrong. How dare you? Get banned. It wasn't 11 minutes between the two Funimation tweets. The second tweet was literally 1 minute after the first. Oh, God, they lied. Imagine lying in your appeal petition. Ah! In his brief, Vic spends only one sentence addressing the actual malice element of his defamation claim against Funimation. Funimation knew this conveyed meaning was false. That's literally all that you need. Of course they knew it was false. Vic cites no evidence to support his statement, except that they made the tweet, they did the investigation. Of course they knew it was false. Look, they weren't relying on someone else to make the statement. They weren't saying, yo, man, I heard on the street, that Vic was a pedo. They didn't do that. They said, we conducted an investigation. Of course, they knew it was false. Appeals court judges have to pretend to be stupid, but they're not actually stupid. okay? I have to lay this out. Most judges aren't actually stupid, even though they sometimes pretend to do so for legal purposes. Funimation, of course, knew it was false. Of course they did. I don't think I'm going to get through this document tonight, y'all, because I'm going to get too pissed off. Needless to say, Ty, what are you doing up? Go to bed. You could have been on the stream. Richard Dangler says, could not post this in Super Chat. I'm sorry, but... Oh, no! Richard Dangler says, I'm sorry, but BHAM.Craigslist.org/BBW-sex-BDL/7101494498.html, just in case anyone in the N-Bama, North Alabama area wants to know what it would be like to make love to Monica or Jamie. Look, you can get a thick girl doll right now on Craigslist, slightly used, which is probably better than we could say for maybe a couple other people. Maybe we could say slightly used is better than your average con slut with meat curtains so far apart they need a long distance plan to connect. Maybe that's the case. Is that an effective insult? I think so. But you can get your slightly used BBW girl doll right on Craigslist there. If you get it, I would recommend bleach and a flamethrower. Recommend bleach and a flamethrower to clean that up. That's actually the worst part of my conversations with Dollhouse Phil is when he talks about cleaning up the dolls that he gets used for resale. Ooh. Whew. Needless to say, Vic's unsupported assertion about Funimation's state of mind is not enough to show actual malice. A recent TCPA matter is analogous and supports the trial court's dismissal of Vic's defamation claim. See Vanderplas versus May. In Vanderplas, the defendant issued a press release that accused the plaintiff, a politically active public figure, of sexual assault. That's not actually anywhere relevant at all, but the plaintiff sued for defamation per se, but provided no evidence of the defendant's malice in response to defendant's TCPA motion. Look, here is actually, ironically, one of the defendant's biggest enemies in all this is Judge Chupp. Judge Chupp didn't run through the elements of the claim. He simply stated that Vic didn't even provide the initial parts of the claim, and then in his order said that he provided no elements. But they didn't get to explore the elements of the claim because Chupp chupped it out. He didn't allow argument on it because he wanted to, quote unquote, move on. He wanted to get done with the hearing. That's a big problem for the defendants. Good night, Ty. See you tomorrow for the show. In granting the motion, the Vanderplas court articulated, even when examined in a favorable light to the plaintiff, his pleading contains no evidence, much less clear and specific evidence, that the defendant's press release statement was both false and made with knowledge of or reckless disregard for its falsity. Similarly, because Vic failed to provide any evidence whatsoever that Funimation acted knowingly or with reckless disregard in making any alleged defamatory implication about Vic and his tweets, trial court properly dismissed Vic's defamation claim. While it is unclear from his brief, Vic may argue in reply that Funimation's post-tweet failure to clarify the findings of its investigation of Vic somehow shows that Funimation must have intended to imply that its investigation found that Vic had engaged in harassing and threatening behavior. Yes, of course he should argue that. But Funimation's after-the-fact silence is not evidence of its actual malice in publishing its tweets. A prima facie proof of actual malice requires more evidence than an inference. Actually, it doesn't. It's the minimum quantity. Yeah, it does. It does, but it's the minimum quantum of evidence necessary to produce a rational inference. So that's a weird argument to take too. That said, the only evidence in the trial court's record of Funimation's state of mind was from Funimation itself, which conclusively negated any inference of actual malice, particularly by implication. Funimation's senior director of public relations, Scott Barretto, testified that purpose of this additional tweet was to respond to the continued heated back and forth among anime fans about Vic. Was an effort to encourage civility in the anime community. Funimation nowhere stated or implied in any of its tweets Vic had engaged in any harassment or intimidation, sexual or otherwise. So that's a lie. Right there. Barretto's testimony shows that Funimation did not publish any tweet about Vic with the requisite intent to defame Vic. I do need a haircut badly. I do have the neck hair. I'm probably going to trim down. Look, this is embarrassing. I see it in the mirror and I'm like, ugh. I am going to trim down the neck hair, but I can't get a haircut. Government says no because... Finally, to the extent that Vic argues in reply that Funimation's investigation reached a wrong conclusion about Vic's conduct because Vic denied the allegations against him, that argument does not support a finding of actual malice on the part of Funimation. Recognizing that the investigation may have been incomplete, poorly conducted, or even biased, however, this cannot support a finding of actual malice. It's not that the investigation showed the actual malice. It's that you had knowledge of the investigation, and with that knowledge, you still published the statement knowing that it was false. That's the difference. Because Vic failed to provide clear and specific evidence of Funimation's actual malice, trial court properly dismissed Vic's defamation claim. Nor did Vic show that Funimation was negligent in publishing its tweets. Citing Vanderlinden versus Khan, explaining that a private plaintiff must prove only the defendant was at least negligent, whereas a public official or blah, blah, blah. Namely, Vic must provide clear and specific evidence that Funimation knew or should have known the defamatory statement was false. Here, Vic's defamation claim fails because he did not show that Funimation negligently implied that he had engaged in threatening or harassing behavior. You do, though. They do. They actually flatly state it in their appeal. Again, in their appeal, they say, and they said at the trial court level, that Scott Barretto said that they had no intention of creating that thing. Go ahead. Again, this is for Vic's team to do. It's not me. I'm not the guy. I'm not the guy writing. Thank God I'm not the guy writing the appeals. Can you imagine writing 4 responses? Oh my goodness. I'm not the guy. But if I were the guy, what I would do is I would go ahead and contend that in their own appeal, they specifically address the knowledge of the falsity in the affidavit that they produced. They acknowledge that they didn't intend to convey this thing, which means that they published it with reckless disregard for the truth of the matter. A truth of the matter that an ordinary reader would obtain, and not only an ordinary, but a subordinary mongrel like Monica Rial would also conclude that it was incorrect, that it was targeted at Vic about sexual harassment. But that said, I mean, they've left this open in their own pleadings, and these pleadings should be used against them. That's what the SIR reply is for. You get your appeal, they get to reply, you get a SIR reply to the appeal, and if I were doing the SIR reply, I would ask for an exception to the word count because you have, they complied with the word count in their first appeal. And in their response to the appeal, they need to say, look, we're responding to 3 separate entities involving, or 3 separate legal teams about 4 separate people. And we need to go ahead and have an expanded word count. We need permission from the court to do that because we have to respond to a lot of shit here that they've raised. And it requires specific citations and specific arguments based on their replies, which are untrue and incorrect. Or in the alternative, the court should dismiss them because they're way the fuck over the word limit. By the way, I'm going to shore this up as soon as I can. But apparently, the remedy for going over the word limit without asking permission from the appeals court is to ignore the appellate brief. Let me restate this. All of this might be for naught, because the remedy for going over the word limit without asking leave of the court to exceed the word limit, and they could have done it in the filing. They could have requested leave to exceed the word limit, acknowledging that they were deficient in following the fucking rules. But the remedy, I believe, is to disregard the reply. Follow the word limit, and if you can't, just ask and they will grant it. What they do is up to them. What they do is on the appeals court. However, and I hate to say, I don't want to fucking do this. If Vic's team motions to dismiss or to disregard their over the limit word count appeal reply briefs, whatever you want to call them. If they motion to do that and the appellate court fails to do so, that's a Supreme Court claim. That's literally a Supreme Court claim right there. I don't like to do it, because I want this case to be I want it to progress. I don't want it to be over. I want the appeal to be over, and I want the case to progress. I don't want to appeal to the Supreme Court. It's a mess, and it's low odds. Very low odds, even on a good issue, but that's an issue. You have a rule, you have rulings which state that the remedy is to ignore the briefs. You don't do it? Why not? We're going to wrap up pretty soon. I'm not going to get through this because we're only on page 35. Vic failed to show that Funimation caused him actual damages. In his brief, Vic argues that he was not required to provide evidence of actual damages because Funimation's tweets falsely accused Vic of a crime or of engaging in serious sexual misconduct, which would make the tweets defamatory per se under applicable law. Vic's argument should be rejected. Should it? That sounds like a fact question. Even assuming that the reader of ordinary intelligence, Rip Monica, or an objectively reasonable reader would interpret Funimation's tweets as accusing Vic of harassing and threatening behavior. As Vic suggests, those bare accusations do not constitute statements by Funimation that Vic engaged in a crime or serious sexual misconduct so as to qualify as defamatory per se. It actually does. That's literally the opposite ruling. Why are you lying? If a reader, an objectively reasonable reader of ordinary intelligence, would interpret them as per se defamatory, it actually is per se defamatory. That's the fucking thing. Lipsky says, accusing someone of a crime, of having foul or loathsome disease, or of engaging in serious sexual misconduct are examples of defamation per se. Okay, yes they are. See also Rosenthal. Tellingly, nowhere in his brief does Vic identify any crime or any serious sexual misconduct implied by Funimation's tweets. Oh my God. Harassment, sexual or otherwise, right? I should wear a blood pressure monitor when I read these. Look at this. Guys, I need to do this. Someone sent me this. Long before the Vic case. They sent me this during the Dick versus Maddox case. An electronic blood pressure monitor. I've never opened it. I should do this, right? I can't do it on this stream because I got to put batteries in it. One size ultra soft arm cuff. AC adapter included. We'll do it. We'll do it for the Monica stream. So I actually have one. Oh God. Now is not the time because I'm winding down. We're gonna wrap up this show pretty soon. Because Funimation's tweets were not defamatory per se, Vic was required to provide evidence of actual damages to withstand dismissal of his defamation claim. Yeah, you called me a sexual harasser and assaulter, you fucking idiots. Vic failed to do so because his damages evidence, his affidavit and his declaration, was excluded from consideration by Judge Chupp, as stated above. Look at this! What a fucking dumb argument again! Why, Volney, would you do this? He has evidence of damages, but it was excluded by procedural rule. What the fuck are you thinking, John? You're a better lawyer than this. He has it, though. It's there, though. It just shouldn't be included because Chupp said so, yo. Oh my God. But even if Judge Chupp considered those materials, Vic's self-serving speculation that he had valid contracts with dozens of conventions, that at least a dozen canceled his appearance, and they are listed on my amended petition, does not constitute admissible evidence of damages resulting from Funimation's February 11th tweets. Yes, it literally fucking does. It literally does. Because if it's in the petition, it is clear and specific evidence. Oh my God, why would you make this argument? Look, I'm obviously a fan of Vic, but I'm also a fan of good legal work. This is absolute shit legal writing. This is garbage. Why the fuck would you say, look, he may have valid stuff in his second amended petition if you don't want it included? Literally, under the TCPA, pleadings are evidence under the TCPA. Period. It's in the damn statute. So if he has it, it is admissible evidence of damages. If it exists, it's admissible evidence of damages. If it's in the Second Amendment petition and the Second Amendment petition was improperly excluded, then it is admissible and it is damages. This is a bad argument. Again, I'm not Vic's counsel. If I were, some of my word count would be specifically directed to this. They should ask for 7,500 words for each group of defendants. Jamie Markey, that's a group because she's fucking fat. Funimation, that's a group because it's a pile of shitheads. And Monica and Ron, that's a group because Monica's fat and Ron is a cuck. Okay? So 3 groups of defendants right there. And they should say that they should get 7,500 words to respond to each group of defendants because the arguments are different, period. Should ask for that. You should get it from the court. They should also get an extension because of COVID koofing. And then they should just take their time and write 3 different responses that are each 7,499 words and focus on each of these things very specifically, especially this one. But the Second Amended petition should be prevalent in all of them. All of these assholes admit that there is evidence in the Second Amended petition that if it were not excluded, it would sink their case. Done. Get it admitted. Let the appeals court determine if it's good enough. That's it. That's it. Huh. holding that general averments of direct economic losses and lost profits do not satisfy the minimum requirements of the TCPA. You can show specifically canceled contracts, including with Funimation and Rooster Teeth. It's in your damn petition, you idiots! Let's read this footnote and then we're going to be done. The defendants' appellees also filed objections to Vic's affidavits and declarations, but Judge Shep did not express a rule in those objections in light of his decision to exclude those materials from consideration. Thereafter, Rial and Toye sent a letter to Judge Shep pursuant to Texas Rule of Appellate Procedure 33.1 to request that he rule on those objections. He didn't. They didn't secure it. And more importantly, hey, Funimation, you didn't send a letter. Rial and Toye did. So even if Rial and Toye get it, you fucking don't. Because you're not together, right? Not a conspiracy, right? All right. Okay, guys, I'm gonna wrap up the stream. We may finish this later. We may not. We're at page 37 of 71. I'm sauced. I'm gonna go on Twitch in a little bit against my better judgment. But we're going to run to 2 a.m. when I read the super chats. Thank you all for participating. If there's anything you want to say now, say it now on super chat. If there's not, that's cool. Come say it for free on Twitch. Try to interact more with the chat for free on Twitch because that's what Twitch is for. Chill, talk, hanging out. We goof on each other. It's beautiful. Some people get off on that. But anyway, let's go ahead and read these chats. Thank you. Again, if you are someone who pieces out during the chats, thank you for participating today. We had a great show. A lot of people. And I appreciate that very much. Tomorrow, Ty Beard. Listen, if you're a small business owner, if you're an independent contractor, if you're a sole proprietor, if you at all work for yourself, do not miss tomorrow's show. Listen, do not miss it. I'm telling you, you want to hear it. Your financial future is fucking at stake. If you're an independent contractor, a small business owner, or a sole proprietor of a business, or self-employed in any way, come tomorrow. And then come tomorrow afterwards. You won't regret it. All right, we're going to hit these chats right now. Z the Tank says, hey, Nick, thanks for the content during all of this. Trying to help a buddy who's lost his job. Any way you can help, get the word out for him. He's a big fan of yours. Thanks and be safe and clean. GoFundMe.com/F for respects /help-Cliff with one F -while-he-is-laid-off. So help Cliff while he is laid off. You guys can check that out in the chat. I know nothing about it, but thank you for considering. Look, we are a community and communities help each other in crisis. If you feel so compelled, help out. If you do not, excuse me. If you do not feel compelled, do not help out. Don't. We're in a crisis, y'all. Help yourselves first. Help yourselves first. If you are secure, if you have ongoing employment, if you have money to spare and want to help someone out, check it out. Help them out. If you don't. Oh my God, please do never, ever put yourself in financial peril on behalf of this show or on behalf of any funding request made on this show. Next, we've got Gamer Hands Jr. Inc. Says the video is live and ready for your comfy viewing as I'm going to bed shortly. Here's some cheese for y'all. Also to the chat, who's ready for Ty Beard? Press 1. Or is you ready to kiss the boot of Funimation? Press 2. So that is Spirit Jr., Gamer Hands Jr., catch these gamer hands. Gamer Hands Jr. also donated and says, damn, Nick, you really didn't have to tweet that. Yes, I did. I'm literally laughing my arse off. Here's my extra cheese because I'm sleepless. Also to the chat press, one of you think Funny shot themselves in their foot. Also, Mr. Beard, can you go see my latest video? Jay said, isn't that introducing new evidence into the record, saying that she interviewed others, which she didn't disclose in her affidavit? Yes, absolutely. Also, they forget to state they made a statement to ANN on the 5th about Vic's firing before the 11th tweet. I mean, what's a little lie among friends? Mercenary X has got good news. My dad seems okay. Yes, good. Just strained from chopping wood. However, now my sister's telling me that I can't even do Instacart because Beerbug is out to get really bad here. Pray for us. She is making her kids stay with us. She is a physician assistant. I will pray for you, buddy. Rage DMX 47. What? That's DMX's contribution to that Limp Bizkit song. What? Hey, Nick. Can we get a shout out to all the chefs like me and anyone else in the restaurant industry who can't work during quarantines? Shout out to the chefs. Rage DMX 47. This is true. I do cooking streams. I love doing cooking streams. You want to help me out and do a cooking stream together as a chef? DM me, bro. Let's do a struggle meal stream. I love chefs with struggle meals. Macaroni and cheese with hot dogs in it. Made fancy with some garlic powder or whatever. Do it. Look me up. I would love to talk. I love cooking. I really do. I legitimately thought about doing chef as a career path a long time ago. I did chef training. I cook. I'm the cook of my family. And I love cooking. It's one of my favorite things to do. It's very relaxing for me. So if you want to hang out, do a chat with me in my Discord on a cooking stream, let me know. I would love to talk to an actual chef. Asia Fraser says you should have Cody on. I did. But have him use an avatar and a different username, and that will be the April Fool's joke if people would recognize him or not. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. But I don't like April Fool's jokes. Mega Emulator Man says, hey, Nick, I'd like to request for a toast to my dad. Oh, my God. I'm tossed, but I'll do it. He passed away back in January 2014 from pneumonia. Today, April 1st, is his birthday, which fitted him well. He was a very funny man. He would be 60. Oh, Christ. That's a young time to lose a dad, buddy. My condolences to you. I don't know what I'd do without my dad. My dad is one of the funniest guys I know. And I don't know what I do. He's the best grandparent to my kids I could ask for. And everybody, listen. This is not a slight to my dad at all. He's a better grandparent than he ever could be a parent. And that's a tribute to just how cool grandparents are to their kids when they take an active interest in the kids. And my parents are phenomenal at it. And I hate this virus. I'm gonna cry. I hate this virus because of that. Because of only that and nothing more. My parents were slated to come hang out with my kids and they don't get to because of the coof. And grandparents are the biggest blessing in a kid's life. So it's not okay to cry. It's not true. Don't lie about it. That's to you, buddy. That's to you. Genuinely sorry for your loss. 60 is way too young for a parent. Clown Shoe says, random legal question. If someone sold me counterfeit goods online, is it illegal for the seller to only grant a refund if the item is returned? If you bought it online, you probably bought it on a credit card. If it's over $50, dispute it immediately with your credit card. Don't even play around. File the dispute. Your credit card is insured. You've got a $50 deductible. It's over $50 and it matters to you. Dispute it with your credit card. They didn't provide you the goods they sold that they claimed they were selling. Just dispute it. Do it. Big Red Bear says, my great uncle died yesterday. The man was grandfather to me. I learned tons from him. I don't think we're going anywhere after we die. So it hurts to know he's gone. Man made it through WW2. 100 years. Bastard decided to check out on my birthday. Ah, God damn it! Big Red Bear. Rip. Sorry to hear that, buddy. You may not believe we're going anywhere after we die, and maybe we don't. Maybe we don't. Listen, maybe you don't go anywhere after you die. But let me tell you this. Because I'm not actually sure. I'm a Christian, right? Full-fledged, stupid Christian. I'm not convinced that heaven is a thing. Not convinced Jesus talks about it. I'm not convinced the Jews talked about it. I think it's something we kind of made up centuries later. Whatever. Doesn't matter if your great uncle goes to heaven or hell or whatever. Doesn't matter if he goes to an afterlife. Because his afterlife persists in you and in your life. And he is there. Make no, you sent me 50 Canadian dollars, which is like 12 US dollars, to tell me about your great uncle. Man. You think he didn't make it to the afterlife? Of fucking course he did. Of course he did. He's with you now. Everything he taught you, everything he meant to you is still with you. If it wasn't with you, it'd be with someone else. Of course we have an afterlife. We just may not get to experience it. But how much do you do in your life that you don't get to experience? That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. You do good shit all the time that no one else gets to deal with. Or that you don't deal with, but someone else gets the benefit of. You pick up a piece of garbage and throw it away. You give some homeless guy $5. You don't know what that did. Doesn't matter. That stuck with the person who it impacted. Whether or not you get to experience your afterlife is fucking irrelevant. Your uncle lives on in you. And his deeds and his knowledge pass on to you. And they will pass on for any generations or people that you influence, including this chat. He lives, buddy. As we all will. Peace. Clown Shoes says random legal question. Damn it! Skaki Onsai says Marky refused oral. She likes it anal. Gross. I don't want to think about Marky at all. Stacy Dealman says, but Funimation loves oral. That's true. The Dragon's Treasure says, I freaking love you, Nick. Hey, that's the T-Man! Right there! Dragon's Treasure, I am sorry for taking so long to do this, but I'm glad we had a good audience for that, and we'll probably have a lot of subsequent audience. I wish you the best. I can't wait to drink some of this tea. Biden the Cold One says, it was nice talking on Discord. See you next week. Hey, thanks, buddy. Not just next week. I tend to pop in on Discords late on weekends as well. Especially now. Anime Dropout says, excited for today's stream. Would love to hop in on an anime stream one day. I'm making more videos. Got a review for the new Tower of God anime and a dinner with my body pillow on my channel. Yeah. Look at this. I got kids like fake scissors. I don't even know what these are for. Look. You have a body pillow dinner on your channel. I love you. Guys, check out Anime Dropout's YouTube video for probably the funniest thing, either ironically or unironically, that you've ever seen. Go check them out. There you go. Derek Bambanek says, Lemoyne does not deserve the corona, but is it defamatory to call him a wheezy blood bug? Fallout fans in chat. Also, Griff shill is best shill. Oh, no, it's not defamatory. Whatever it is. Tamara Holloway says, as le moi. Oh, even in the proper French. We do love the affidavits and they do help us as long as they're excluded. Otherwise, I must object. They're devastating our case. They're devastating to our case. Also, Coronavirus would be devastating to my lungs, but beneficial to my wife who would stop pretending to love me. Mars Ultor says, contribute to AfricanAncestry.com, but send them Drex's pick. Results should be funny. Serial Foxity says, apologize to the remote. I won't recall how much harm I will bring to you and yours. Onabushi Kabuto says, will Vic show up in chaps? Find out at 11. Hokage78 says, it's hard out there for a simp. Quote, Ron Toye. Romeo Garbo says, hey, Nick in chat, what's everyone's favorite leftover food? Mine has to be pizza. Fried chicken. No, that's a lie. Damn it. Roast chicken. A rotisserie chicken is my favorite leftover food because I can shred up an old rotisserie chicken and I can throw it in ramen. I can throw it on a pizza. I can throw it on a flatbread pizza. I can just reheat it as rotisserie chicken. I can put it in a stir fry. Rotisserie chicken is the best damn $7 you could ever spend. Period. Thornock Gaming says, thoughts and prayers for my father. He has COVID-19 and is in the ICU and it's not looking that good for him. God damn it. Thoughts for your father. I hate this fucking virus. Peace, buddy. May he recover fully. Peter Pete says, 2018, you can cuss on my stream. You can cuss on my stream, but I don't. 2020, asterisk, 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 space, asterisk, 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 mo.ron, asterisk, 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 asterisk. Listen, I'm not going to pretend to be a virtuous person. I'm a bad person. But all sinners are equal in God's eyes. Travis Brioc says, I'm an IT administrator and I feel lucky to be working. Look, if you're working right now, you are lucky, period. Period. Enjoy it, preserve it. Thank the gods that you're still in place and hope that persists. Broly the Mighty says, on your recommendation, a friend bought me a bottle of Highland Park 30 for my birthday last week. Your friend spent like $600, $700 on a bottle of Highland Park for you? Did you give him a... Look. I'm not judging. Did you, did you compensate your friend adequately? That's an expensive whiskey. Look, it's not gay if you don't like it. Nothing Raven says, rarely catch you live. Hey, welcome to Corona. Drinking Glenlivet Founders Reserve. I'll try to catch your Twitch, but my computer lags watching Twitch. Keep up the good work. Listen, if you like Glenlivet, I don't have any right now. God damn it! Get yourself a bottle of Glenlivet Nadura. All three of them are great. Doesn't matter which one. Grab one. Bad Vibe says, did you become a lawyer because a lobster needs due process before boiling? No. But yes. Gelth Walker says, Nick, the song He Lives in You from Lion King. Don't do that to me. I love the Lion King live Broadway show. Unironically, it's fantastic. I've seen it twice. Once just me and once with my kids. It's really good. It's really good. God damn it, Gelf. Samantha Schoner says, would you please pray for my dad? 100%, Samantha. The easiest thing in the world is for me to, between streams, pray for people who ask. If you want to ask for prayer, as gay Christian as it is, I will absolutely pray for whoever you want. It is the lowest cost thing that I can do. Of course. Sorry. He has been having heart trouble in the last few months, and is having a stint put in tomorrow morning. Hey, literal thoughts and prayers for your dad. May the procedure go beautifully. May the doctor's hands be guided by the wisdom of their training and the steadfastness of their experience. May your dad come out of that with all of the recovery that can be expected from a routine procedure. Guys, God damn it. If the worst thing that happens to me in my entire life is that I get the opportunity to exercise my faith over other believers, everything I've done and everything I've endured will be worth it. Everything, no matter what it is. Going into the future, if I'm sued into oblivion, if I lose everything in a lawsuit, if the fact that I can pray to my God for the benefit of someone else who believes in him, to their benefit, if that's all I can do in my life, then I have done more than enough, and what happens to me in this material world is irrelevant. Jesus Christ. Can I please do that? I would wash your feet in person, Samantha, if I could. And if you don't believe, I don't care. I will pray for you too. I'll give my best thoughts and all of the positive vibes in the universe. I'll masturbate for you if you want it. Look, I'm not above it. Tracy Dealman says, I lost my dad 11 years ago and my mom 2 years ago. Found both of them when they passed away. Please drink for them. Trying to kill me, but I will. I will. It's gonna be hard to do Twitch after this, fam, but we're gonna do it. That Doom Eternal is gonna be a shit run. But hey, this is more important. Tracy, that's to you. Are you related to Stephanie or Stacy? Stacy Dealman? Is it Stacy? Stephanie. God damn it. I don't remember. Stacy Dealman. Are you guys like family? Look, I'm not going to masturbate on stream. I'm not going to have an OnlyFans about it. I'm not going to get one of those little pink things and shove it up my butt or whatever like chicks do. Rogue says, ever get the feeling the defendant's lawyers are professionally throwing them under the bus for payment failures? Let me comment on that. I don't think they're throwing them under the bus for payment failures. I think that is a necessary outcome of the failure to pay. Not that they're intentionally throwing them under the bus, but that they're sub-intentionally doing a shit job. Twisted Puppet. Can I get a shout out from my dad? 76 and still kicking. He's also one hell of a grandpa to my nephew. Can't argue with that. Your dad's great. Broly the Mighty says, I'm a sheriff's deputy. He bought it because some suspect spit on me. I wanted to have a good birthday, and I've been home for 2 weeks. Dude. Broly, you know I hate cops, buddy. You know I am anti-cop out of my mind. But I'm not anti-individual. I want all cops to go home safely. I want them all to do their job. As a general rule, I'm anti-cop because that's my role as a defense attorney. Cheers to you, buddy. Thank you for keeping all of us safe. We gonna die tonight, fam. Romeo Garbo says, I hope to whatever God will listen. My last grandmother makes it out of this. Personally, I'm not religious, but she is. Pray for her. I will. I will. Geldwalker says, Nick, look up the Peter Holland and Lion King cast version of the song. It sends me chills down my arms. It's super powerful and all should listen to it. I will do. I think I already know. I think I already have that song. I think I already sing it in the car with my kids. Just saying. Joshua Jung says, please explain to Joseph Ipolto that the Bible was written by Jews. Thanks, dude. Crying is A-OK. DSP is not. Look, I don't cry. We don't actually cry. Until I get that 100K subscriptions, then I'll cry. But no, we don't actually cry. Yeah, the Bible was written by Jews. They were not trying to create a new religion. They were trying to steer other Jews into their belief system under the Jewish order, under Jewish law. They believe that and this is how Midrash works, right? Oh my goodness. Now we're Bible explaining. This is how the Midrash works. It's a debate. They were contributing to the Jewish debate about what being a Jew properly was. Jews largely rejected this because, let's be honest now, for all of the televangelists out there talking about the Jesus predictions, literally none of the predictions about the Messiah match up with Jesus. Literally fucking none. If anybody out there comes and comes to you and says they predicted Jesus in Isaiah and Daniel and Jeremiah, no, they fucking didn't. No, they didn't. They predicted a Messiah. They predicted a warrior Messiah. They predicted someone who'd come in and overthrow the shackles of an oppressive government. And Jesus did literally fucking none of that. He actually said, submit to your oppressors. He did the opposite. What the gospel's purpose and the following purpose of Acts and James actually did was they said, look, we know Jesus didn't say what you expected, but this is what was meant. And here's how it works. Okay? So they're trying to convince Jews, except for John and Luke. No, mostly Luke. Luke is trying to convince Gentiles, but mostly Matthew, Mark, and part of John is aimed at Jews to say, look, this follows in with the Jewish tradition. Luke is like, look, fuck the Jews. I got Gentiles here wanting in, and this Jesus guy says Gentiles get in, even though he didn't. Jesus was a racist. Make no mistake, Jesus is a flawed human, just like the rest of us. He's a racist. Look at the story of the Samaritan woman. He calls her a fucking dog. That's not cute. Lots of televangelists and other prosperity preachers want to apologize for Jesus being a racist, but Jesus was a fucking racist. He's a human. He's like, look, bitch, you're a dog. Bitch, female dog, right? You don't get to slurp up scraps from the master. You don't get to be fed from the master. And she's like, look, even I will lick up the cummies from the master's table. And Jesus is like, you know what? Good fucking point. Good fucking point. And he changes his reaction, but both Jesus and the disciples' initial reaction is racist. Because Jesus was a racist. He was a product of Jewish tradition at the time. Stop making Jesus more than he was. He's just a guy. He's a guy. He's a human. That's the best part of God, is that he comes down as a flawed fucking human. All this shit about Jesus not being sinful, of course he was sinful. Of course he was sinful. That means that we as sinners get to identify with God. Because we're flawed and we're broken. God damn it. Here you have me. I will Bible-splain the shit out of you if you ask me to. Jesus is not this vaunted, venerated figure. Just because he's God. When God comes down as a human, he's a broke piece of shit just like the rest of us. We're all racist. We're all problematic. We all do sins just like Jesus did. And the Jews actually acknowledge that if you pay attention. You pay attention. Listen, Jesus disrespects his own goddamn mom at the dinner at Cana. Mary's like, hey, they're out of wine. They're out of liquor. Fix the liquor. And he's like, woman, you dumb bitch. I'm not ready for this. It's not my time yet. But he also respects his mom like a good boy. And he says, okay, bring me water. And I'm going to make it wine. I'm going to make it not only wine, I'm going to make it get you drunk as fuck. Because that's the best wine that's out there. Listen, if I'm going to come in the jars, it's going to be the good shit. Okay? This is Jesus. He's humble as shit. He's just like you and me. Anybody who tries to put... God damn it! I've drank too much. Anybody who tries to put Jesus on a pedestal above you is literally fucking wrong. Jesus was without sin. No. Jesus was more than human. No. That's what makes it important, and that's what makes it matter, is that Jesus wasn't above us, and he wasn't above our shitty pettiness. He's just a guy. The guy at the bar is Jesus. They tell us this over and over. Over and over. The guy that you encounter, the homeless guy, the bar guy, the racist guy, the shitty SJW, they're all literally Jesus. Same guy. That's why you got to treat him as Jesus, because if you don't, you're an asshole that goes to hell or whatever. I don't actually believe that, but that's what they say. It's the worst of us put into practice and shown that the worst of us isn't that bad. It isn't that bad. Anyway, this is not the story for Bible-splaining. God damn it. Where are we? Ooh. Spank Daddy says, unrelated to anything. I gotta piss so bad. But just thought I'd show support for the petition on change.org for Tedros to resign from the WHO with 700k signatures. Let's just resign the WHO. WHO is shit and they can eat shit. Azure Kaizen says, bro's having a daughter, so I'm going to be an uncle soon. Uncles are great. Like grandparents, you get to do all the fun, none of the work. Totally hyped for that. Hope y'all are doing well in these times. Thank you, buddy. Azure Kaizen says, when all is said and done, I want to see Vic again. Last time was all the way back in 2006, 2007 when he revealed Full Metal Fantasy. Don't wait. Don't wait. Find a convention near you and go support him, and then tell the world that you're doing it. Tell the convention that you're doing it. Listen, it matters. Tell the convention, I'm traveling across country to see Vic. Do it. Take those neat bucks from Trump and do it. Peter Pete says, I was happy thinking I would be laid off for 3 to 4 months. I got my 45-foot sailboat ready. Then I was informed because I'm a truck driver, must work. No sailing for you, buddy. Spank Daddy says, almost, not over, sorry. J Sim says, lost my great-grandfather years ago. Don't really know when. Wasn't close to him. Can you take a shot for him? I just want this stream to continue. Damn it. I gotta pee so bad. Tracy Dealman says, yes, I'm related to Stacy. We had twin sisters. I love you guys. Don't ever get swindled into sex with one person. Yes Man 2044 says, have you ever heard of Pureflix? If so, have you seen any of the movies on it? No and no. Siren Jack says, at this point, Nick's liver probably looks like Cartman's Trapper Keeper in that episode of South Park. Joshua Young says, shout out to my daughter, Anastasia Young, first member of our surname to graduate from university, my future, my hope, and what I leave the world. And that's it. Nothing we do matters, but our children matter. What our children do matters. That makes sense. The legacy we leave behind is our children, period. Rotten Tanuki says, bartender/artist lost my job to COVID. I have a shop on Redbubble called Day One Patch Kids. If you like what you see, get some merch. It would help me out. Rotten Tanuki, do you want to do a bartending stream with me? I would love to. Struggle streaming in the COVID. Joshua Jung says, big ups pronouncing my name. Twin Cities, my spiritual home. Young, sorry. Hey, thanks, buddy. Will Pozechny says, Nick, I'm still up for Bible explaining show with you. I'm a Methodist pastor, so I'll even drink with you. Oh, buddy. Will, we're going to do it. Slash and Burn Theory. Will email me so I don't forget. Nick versus Yellow Flash. Who's the wilder drunk? Lol. Yellow Flashes. Kolfi, Second Amendment wannabe. Hunan Muhammad says, I'm an agnostic, but you might actually convert me. Not my job. Not my job or goal to convert you. Romeo Garbo says, I'm sending this to the Linux bathroom visit. Rude. Nya says, more junk lawyer Bible explaining shows when? I have to drink a lot before the stream for that. And Blaine20 says, don't go chasing water. Don't go chasing waterfalls. And Geldwalker says, let's continue the bathroom break stoppages. Rude. Says, not Sam Hyde. Says, please pray for my grandma. She's getting dementia and had to be hospitalized. Literally, I had 2 grandmas with dementia. Literally the same day that stay-at-home started. That's rough. She doesn't understand what's going on in the world right now, and she's having a hard time adjusting to assisted living. Peace be to them, brother. Pro Hero All Might says, thanks for the entertainment, Rekieta. We're in a grocery store, and every day I go to work thinking today is the day I get infected. Needed something to get my mind off things. Thank you. And finally, Cemetery Lady, Drunken Bible Study sounds amazing. Look, I will change your world in the Bible. Kelly Walker says, dance, 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 do the P dance, Nikki. Here's the outro, you assholes. Trying to get me killed with my bladder bursting. I love you all. We'll see you on Twitch. Peace. Peace. God damn it, Romeo Garbo says rudeness intensifies. And I'm done. No more super chats will be read. Piss off.
Kids asleep tight. We'll hear some lost-plaining tonight. With his microphone muted, we'll laugh at this boomer until he explains it's all part of the plan. Watch his face become redder as he becomes meta, raging at idiots from Twitter and Erlang. From the white shores of Maine to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, his lady is fair, and she handles herself with the grace of one who has borne many children. As the wife of a lawman, she makes sure that he has the time and the place to provide for them there. So pour out an art bag, a bow, more a love rug. The spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear lost planning tonight. From the white shores of Nam to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, the guests are all plentiful, from Doug T to Drexel. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career. Get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear lost planning tonight. From the white shores of Nam to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. From the white shores of Nam to the hills of
hills of Glenlivet.